Gaming news today is all about surprises. First, PlayStation State of Play has been announced exactly 1 day before when they are going to do it. And I said yesterday I anticipated them doing it on Thursday to kick off Summer Game Fest. They like to kick off Summer Game Fest. They've done that pretty historically, but they probably wanted to avoid the launch date of the Nintendo Switch 2, opting instead to go on Wednesday. We'll take a look at what they said, how long it's supposed to be, and speculate on what will be there. Second, another leak about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. Looks like it is pretty strong confirmation that we might even hear something about the game this week. Third, we have brand new looks at The Witcher 4 from the State of Unreal event, and it looks breathtaking. They go down into minor details about how every tree actually has individual leaves and pine needles on it, and how are they going to render that at distance, and they showed it on a base PS5 running at 60 FPS with ray tracing. So we will consider what that means for the future of that engine, as well as how are the grifters going to hand such an impressive and good-looking game, given they all said it was going to be terrible and quote-unquote woke because I guess they thought Siri wasn't pretty enough. Well, in the latest footage, she looks awesome, and it'll be interesting to see how they flip it around, as they are accustomed to do. Now, as always, I do have a game for your wish list and your radar, and I put that at the end of the show open, so make sure you always check out those games and add them. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, a really great way to help me out is to smash that like button. I know it seems like a ritual, but it does help the video, so do it now. Or if you're watching later, you can do it then as well. And I am a fan-funded operation. I do this full-time, and you might notice this isn't some gigantic channel. I am funded by members and subscribers on Twitch. So if you've never supported a channel directly on YouTube, consider doing it. Make sure you pick Member Plus. You just have to click Join. For the price of a cup of coffee every month, you help me do this full-time. And Twitch, you can use those Twitch Primes every month. Just make sure you do them manually, okay? So there's a lot to cover. There's a lot to get into, and let's get into it here. So, in case you missed it, we were going to be talking about the alleged State of Play announcement because reliable insider Shinobi sort of hinted at it, but it has been announced. Now, in the lead up to this event, one insider, Detective Seeds, claimed that the event would be more than 40 minutes long. It would be a 40-plus minute event, but it would be the week before Death Stranding 2 releases. He got one part right, the length, but he got the date and the timing wrong. This was in the wake of Jeff Grubb saying there was some type of an event being planned for June, and he didn't know if it was a State of Play or a showcase. Well, we now know it will be a State of Play on Wednesday, June the 4th at 5 p.m. Eastern. We will obviously be co-streaming it. Shinobi wished somebody a happy birthday yesterday who speculated that, hey, my birthday's tomorrow, so that's obviously when Sony will announce the State of Play. And I had continued to say throughout the day, if Shinobi was misinterpreted, Shinobi would have said, hey, I was just wishing somebody a happy birthday. You guys are looking into this. When major media gaming news outlets picked this up and ran with it, I thought, we're definitely getting an announcement. Now, some have expressed concern that why are they announcing this so close to the date of the actual event? Is there something wrong? Did they slap this thing together? I don't think you slap together a 40-minute plus long event. But I will say, I did a little bit of research yesterday because I was trying to figure out when they would announce this. They like to announce things on the hour, usually around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern, sometimes at noon Eastern. But I did notice a pattern. A lot of the time, State of Plays are announced 24 to 48 hours before they happen. I don't know if they do this to maximize turnout or interest, but it's not uncommon at all. This is not some new development with PlayStation where they're suddenly waiting until the last minute to tell us about an event. They have actually done this many times before, and I believe they probably were wanting to go on the 5th, which is a Thursday. They like Thursdays, but again, with that being the Nintendo Switch 2 release date, they opted for the 4th instead. Historically speaking, PlayStation does like to kick off Summer Game Fest with a State of Play. There was the 1 year where they did the showcase. At this point, I think that's probably going to land in September. We were hearing that there is some type of a big event being planned for September, and it's not been given an official title yet, just being referred to as an event. But being a part of Summer Game Fest is something they have done historically, even after backing out of E3. It's a lot cheaper and easier to put these State of Plays together and make sure you're included. And again, they like to be first because they kind of get to stake claim on all of the announcements, and then everybody associates those announcements with their platform. So we will be co-streaming that tomorrow, and we'll discuss all throughout this stream what we think is going to be there and why. Now, we also need to talk about Assassin's Creed Black Flag because, well, we got another leak. Well, it seems we're even closer to AC Black Flag Remake getting announced, and this is not a rumor or a leak or something on Reddit or Twitter. This is a statue maker that basically confirmed the game's existence. The company Pure Arts was recently doing a live stream, and one of the staff said that, quote, Assassin's Creed fans out there, you should be aware there is something going on with Edward. And when their co-host asked if this has been announced yet, they replied, I think so. I'm pretty sure I saw rumors about it. No, I definitely saw an article about it. So yeah, this is basically just a few words short of confirming that the game is in fact real, which I think we all kind of knew that. I would say that if merch has been made or planned, then the game is likely very, very close to an announcement. We may see something during Summer Game Fest, or if Ubisoft decides to do a UB Forward event, which they typically do, we may see something about it there as well. What do you think? Are you interested in an Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake when it finally releases? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live show. And we really got to talk about this Witcher 4 stuff that was showcased at Unreal, State of Unreal. So in case you missed it, Unreal has been doing a bit of a showcase on all the latest updates to Unreal 5, and the Witcher 4 debut of gameplay talking about lighting and shadows was absolutely breathtaking. And the big takeaway here is not what you think. The actual takeaway is that they were showing this on a base PS5 running at 60 FPS with ray tracing turned on. Now, this was not something I expected to see. That sounds like a mode for the PS5 Pro, or you would expect at an Unreal showcase showing off all the great lighting, shadows, and water effects, and I guess there's even muscles inside the horse you're going to see, in a second. All of that they typically throw on a very beastly PC, and then you're sort of like, yeah, I don't know what kind of performance I'm going to get on my PC or on console, but this time around, they really focused on the technology being more lightweight, being faster, really stressing that performance was something that they were zeroing in on, and they said for the first time ever, with all this stuff turned on, they can achieve 60 FPS on console. Interesting that that's a focus from Unreal, but also comforting to those of us who prefer to game on console. This did not feel like a flashy slapped together montage where they wowed us with reflections or detail of shadows. They really did focus on why the tech is servicing not just a beautiful game, but a game that runs well, and I think that is incredibly important. So I walked away from this demo very pleased. The fact that they showed it on a base PS5 is very comforting and could mean we see The Witcher 4 earlier than many people thought. At least it's going to be landing this gen, because I would imagine if they're building and testing things on a base PS5, that would mean that they are, heading and narrowing that date down for this window of this gen. So I'd love to know what you thought of the footage. You can let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. And as always, I've got a game for your wish list and your radar. This game may not be on your wish list or your radar yet, and it should be. It's called Shinobi Art of Vegeance. It's releasing on August 29th on old and current gen Xbox and PlayStation, the Nintendo Switch, as well as Steam. And this game has a really great vibe. I see things in this trailer. It reminds me of like Street Fighter, Nine Souls, as well as just Metroidvanias. Now, it is described as a 2D action platformer, so it's not technically a Metroidvania, but it does say that you will discover ninja tools to overcome obstacles and uncover new paths, which very much reminds me and is reminiscent of how you explore in a Metroidvania. The hand-drawn art style gives such a classic game feel, while also having what I think is a very strong and punchy art style with frenetic combat and lots of fluidity. It comes from the team behind the hit brawler Streets of Rage 4, so again, make sure to add this one to your wish list and your radar. Again, it releases August 29th on old and current gen PlayStation and Xbox, as well as the Nintendo Switch and Steam. So that is the show open, and now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I had to do a lot of that on the fly. I didn't write a lot of that because a lot of that stuff literally just happened. That's a great reason to be a member to the channel, by the way. We did a morning coffee segment this morning, and they all got to see my live reaction to the Witcher 4 stuff that they showed off. So a great reason to support the channel directly. Be here as often as you can. If you can't support directly, you might get a gifted membership. And the show opened for 6/3/25. I'm going to go ahead and upload that so my producer can get that ready to go. If there's anything in there worth probably throwing up today, he will determine that. That Witcher 4 stuff just looks so good. It looks so good, boys. Metroidvania began as a 2D side-scroller. I feel that flashback to that art style looks great. Yeah, definitely not a Metroidvania. It's not a Metroidvania, but it had Metroidvania vibes because you're going to get like different tools, abilities, and things like that to, navigate the world. So let me thank some people here. We do have our friendly little contest that we're always doing, and Han shot first, and so did you. There it is, the man himself, Joker Quinn, always coming in and making sure to start the day. But I got to tell you, you guys, you got absolutely trounced on by Twitch in the opening. They're sitting at 75 for the day, so I currently owe them 10, which I'm going to do now. Every 25 I give 5, and we are on the cusp of the next milestone of 200 already. You guys are killing it once again. The senior manager of Square Enix was hyping up the State of Play on Twitter. Maybe Astrobot Square Enix DLC is incoming. Yeah, maybe. I mean, what do you guys think is going to be there? Thank you, Jamba, also for renewing your Member Light subscription. I can't count Member Lights I can't count them in the total because that's probably a gifted. If it's not a gifted, upgrade to Member Plus so I can count your sub every single month. Yeah, the Witcher 4 tech demo, they showcased it. They showed a lot. It looked really, really good. I was blown away, genuinely. And again, my big takeaway from this is that they are not just focusing on saying, ooh, it's pretty and lighting and resolution. They're like, no, we did all of these advancements to make these things faster and more lightweight to serve performance. That was a massive, massive focus of this showcase, which really, really encourages me. It means they are focusing on the right things, right? Every little pine needle on this tree is rendered like and represented by like a pixel when you get far away, and it looks like it's still being rendered. So like it still interacts with the lighting. They kind of show that here. You'll never notice this because you'll be really, really far away. And the beauty of this is that, again, it's all done in service of performance. So you're not going to be playing games that are utilizing this Unreal 5 technology and be able to be like, oh, it's on the engine. No, the engine has made significant advancements to ensure that your game runs well, which I think is incredibly important. And thank you for using your Prime sub on me. Now, that's a setup if I've ever seen one. 180. We're exactly 20 members away. We are exactly 20 members away from the next milestone. Whoever hits it gets it. This is your chance, YouTube, to answer back. Twitch took 3 of them already today, and I'm already all paid up. So thank you guys so much. This will definitely be their best-looking game. CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077 proved that with the overhaul. Yes. Ghost of Yotei gameplay is probably what I'd be looking forward to the most. Yeah, I would anticipate Yotei being there. And a 5-bomb comes in from Lone Wolf, and he says, we can do it, boys. Many hands make light work. And that 5-bomb could be just the beginning of what you guys need to go on a little train to get it to 200 and to take back the victory from Twitch today. Yeah, it's a 40-plus minute. Yes, a 40-plus minute State of Play to me, people are like concerned. They're like, oh, this must be slapped together and to only announce it the day before. That's actually extremely common. That is extremely common with the way that they announce State of Plays. Because I was looking yesterday, I wasn't even trying to research like how many days in advance do they announce. I was trying to see what time of day they typically announce, and it was pretty inconsistent. There was a 10 Eastern, there was a 10 Eastern, there was a noon Eastern, and then today was 9 Eastern. But I noticed something in my research. They were commonly announcing State of Plays for the next day or 2 days from the time they announced it. Very common. That's very, very common for PlayStation. State of Plays and these sorts of things are not always announced super far in advance. Now showcases typically are 1 week. They give you like 1 week notice. So if the thing in September is in fact real, as the insiders are claiming that something's coming in September, then that will likely be announced 1 week beforehand. But in this situation, 40-plus minutes is not something they slap together. I don't think they're scrambling or fearful or in a bad spot. Everybody keeps trying to run with that narrative. I don't get where that narrative comes from. They're posting like record stock value, record earnings, record profit, record revenue, record MAUs. I don't know how anybody can interpret the litany of data points that are signaling success for Sony and PlayStation to be like, they're in a bad spot, they're down bad. It's like, it's just a lot of obfuscation, misrepresented stories, false reports, and obviously just like the natural grift of the internet to make things up to fit the narrative that you've already decided. I don't know why people continue to do that, but I don't think this was slapped together or thrown together at all. Historically speaking, I said this many times in the lead up to this week. I am going to do a little I told you so. I kept telling you guys it made no sense for PlayStation to skip Summer Game Fest. They have kicked off Summer Game Fest many, many years now, and 1 year was a 1 year was a showcase, and all the rest were state of plays. So to me, I said it made sense for them to kick it off. I predicted it would be Thursday the 5th. I got that part wrong. It's Wednesday the 4th. I should have thought about the Nintendo Switch 2, launch date playing a factor. I would have made a different guess, but I wasn't even considering that in the equation. A lot of us forgot about the Nintendo Switch 2 because they're like not marketing it for some reason, and it sold like an insane amount, and pre-orders were mind-boggling, and yet they're like not doing any marketing. Maybe they're not doing any marketing because it's a worthless spend because everybody's already pre-ordered. Like, who are you going to market to? People who can't pre-order it? They might be waiting until they have another batch. I mean, if they're wanting effective market spend, that's the only thing I could think of, like, why Nintendo is saying basically nothing. And a single comes in from Dylan. Thank you for renewing your Member Plus, and that gets us to 186. Lone Wolf tried to give YouTube a little kick in the pants to chase down that 200, but he didn't get any assistance. So we'll see who wants it. We will see who takes it. Why market when none are available? That's exactly what I was thinking, Vithuza. I was like, you guys keep acting like it's so lackluster. They're not talking about it. What is the point? Every dollar spent marketing the Switch 2 right now is simply going to frustrate would-be buyers. Thank you for reminding me the Switch 2's coming out. I can't even get one. Like, I think that's probably why they would not be doing it. I mean, people are also getting them canceled. Angry Pete just gifted a member and says, we can do it. We can do it. Every little bit counts, and he gets us to 187 on the day. You guys are already getting ready to catch up and surpass the week's pace. This unlocks a Friday night stream with my wife. This week it'll be a blast because there'll be gaming events going on and things to talk about. We usually have drinks and laughs, and then I end up sampling some of my music for you guys. If you've missed that, watch the last 2 Friday nights, and you can hear some of the stuff that I've written. Everyone knows the Switch 2 is coming. Word of mouth is a powerful tool. For sure. I don't think it was needed. And Lone Wolf is going to join the single gifted train that's trying to start right now. And gets us to 188. And then that takes us to 12 on the day of the contest. And a 10 bomb comes in from Wilbur, and it's about to get really, really interesting. And Shiny Red Flag takes it. Oh, no. Shiny Red Flag absolutely stole it. And now 2 singles come in from Lone Wolf and Trippy Moon because the 198 was from the 10 bomb, but then Shiny Red Flag stole it with the 5 bomb, and then 2 singles have just come in to get us to 205. We are now exactly a 20 bomb away. We are exactly a 20 bomb away from the next milestone, so that's another chance to steal. I now owe 5 to Twitch. I am sorry, YouTube. Literally, it was Wilbur's 10, then Shiny's 5, and then Lone Wolf and Trippy came in after. So YouTube once again getting beat to the punch. I owe 5 members to Twitch. It was not a tie this time. I've been paying both platforms when it's a tie. It was not. It was a very clear victory for Twitch this time. I can see both in front of me. So I am sorry. YouTube. You're getting bested here. You're gonna need some of the big boys to come in and save your bacon. I mean, a 20 bomb right now would steal it. That's the best way to do it. Get it, steal it when it's a big one, because then no one can take it from you. What do I want to see the most tomorrow? I would really like to see raw, uncut gameplay of Yote. I think it's time. We have seen an unbelievable amount of Death Stranding 2. It's Ghost of Yote's turn. It is. What the heck is that? Cat, I don't know what that is. It's a heart? What is this? What did Cat do to put a heart in my activity feed? I'm not sure what that is. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It just says Heart X1 from Cat. Is that a gift like on Talk? Like on the Tickety Talk? Yotei gameplay's a must. That's what I'm saying. I think it's time for Ghosts of Yotei gameplay. You use bits to use them. Oh, and more people are doing it. Oh, and then combo level achieved 50. Oh, so you guys can add to it. Oh, I've never seen that before. Guys, if you're on YouTube and haven't hit the like button yet, let's try to get to 200 likes super, super fast today. Let's have a big day. It's been really slow in gaming news, and it's picking up. It's picking up. Oh, it's a brand new feature. Okay, they probably announced it at the latest Twitch event because I was trying to catch up on all that, but I'm also just trying to, find gaming news to cover. So let's have a big day because, I mean, we've got a lot to do. We've got tomorrow. We've got the Switch 2. We've got Summer Game Fest. It's about to pick back up, man. It's been very, very dry. 40-plus minutes, pretty lengthy. When they do a 40-plus minute state of play, to me, I always classify that as like a mini showcase. Like a 20-minute state of play where they're like half the games are VR and half the games are like indie partners. I'm always like, that's great. That's cool. Thank you guys for the bits. Thank you, Beyond RPG Gaming, Von Raz, and Wired Rope, who all sent bits through that little community effort. I greatly appreciate that. So yeah, I raise my eyebrows when they don't set expectations in the blog. Why? They typically don't say more than they did. I've been covering state of plays from PlayStation for, the last, I don't even know, I guess a decade roughly. And they almost never give lots of details in the blogs. It's typically a little blurb about how long it is with some generic, garden variety puffery about, we're excited to hear from player partners all across the globe, blah, blah, blah. They almost never say anything in those blog posts. They're usually very much nothing burger blog posts that simply establish date, time, and length and, who will be involved. So Yotei current gen begins. I'm not sure what you mean. Nintendo has now confirmed that it's not sending Switch 2 review units to the press at launch, meaning there won't be any reviews before the system releases this week. Are they doing that? And you guys are now contributing your bits to a little dino guy. Thank you so much over here on Twitch for doing that. Don't they sometimes hedge a bit by saying don't expect too much? I don't know if I've ever seen PlayStation say don't expect too much. They will say this is a 20-minute state of play featuring a lot of our independent partners or something in VR. And then it's not going to be a big event. They don't come out and say don't expect much. But they typically say, yes, it'll be about 20 minutes long. It's going to feature our independent partners in some VR games. And then it's not going to be some big event. Excuse me. A 40-plus minute event, I mean, we can go look at the actual blog post. I don't think they're tempering it down, but I also don't think that they're exploding it either. I think they're just sort of announcing that they're doing something. You know what I mean? Let me see here. I will read you the blog. State of Play returns June 4th. Watch live for news and updates on must-play games coming to PS5. The show highlights a selection of great games from creators across the globe. The 40-plus minute show begins June 4th at 2 p.m. Pacific. It'll be on YouTube and Twitch, and it'll broadcast in English. See you then. And then they always say this about copyrighted content. They'll be some of the trailers might use copyrighted music. This is like a garden variety announcement that they always do. You get length, and you get this. The show highlights a selection of great games from creators across the globe. I mean, I don't think they're hyping it. I don't think they're tempering it down. They're just saying it's a 40-minute event with a bunch of games. That's all it is. I think it'll be, I bet you it's 75% third party and about 25% first party would be my guess. If you break down the math and the minutes that we see. So if you take 40 and you go, well, that's 10 minutes. So yeah, that'd be 10 minutes. I was going to do it. I was going to do the math. I think roughly 10 minutes of first party. Everything else will be third party. I'm serious. I would set your expectations to that. Roughly 10 minutes. I'll say 10 to 15. 10 to 15 minutes of first party, Everything else is going to be second or third party. It will not be a tour de force of first party games. It won't be. It never is. Even in their showcases, the one showcase the one year, it was like 4 first party games, and they were all cinematic trailers, with the exception of Spider-Man. Edward Holtz with a 5 spot tip. Excited for State of Play tomorrow. Witcher 4 looks insane. GTA 6 can undoubtedly run at 60 FPS on the base PS5 because the Witcher 4 demo proves it. Well, I don't know if I agree with your logic, because they're showing significant advancements within UE5 that were directly focused on 60 FPS. Like, they even said that in the one part. They're like, our 60 FPS budget allowed us to do this. That was a focus of those updates. Really quickly, YouTube, double check that you've hit the like button. We're trying to get to 200 likes before the 30-minute mark. Let's do it. We only need 40 of you right now to smack it. Hit that like button. So I don't think that proves anything about Rockstar's engine or even Rockstar's game. Their attempts to have a dense living city and, a dynamic system for AI and responding to things that happen, traffic jams, crime, things of that nature, I don't necessarily think proves anything about GTA 6. Like, I appreciate your excitement, because it's like, I kind of agree with you. The gauntlet's kind of been thrown down. If you look at a game like The Witcher 4 and they can pull it off, well then, okay, what's your excuse for not pulling it off? Anybody who attempts to bring a 30 FPS game to the market now. Decim Engine has serious competition now. UE5 is back swinging. What I saw from that presentation with The Witcher 4, that's what I've wanted to see from Unreal 5. A focus on performance. It's what I've wanted to see, right? Hang on, Mooch. What time? Yeah, I should be able to swing that. It's summer showcase week. I told my wife they'll be doing a lot of streams, so I should be able to be on Crossfire this week. Stellar Blade on the Ally is nice. Xbox has been silent. What's next for them? Xbox has been silent? What are you talking about? They're talking about their showcase. They have a big showcase coming up on Sunday, and then they have the Outer Worlds 2 Direct after the showcase. I don't think they've been silent at all. They've actually been continuing to draw attention to that. They're not being silent. I mean, unless you're saying like they're not making any announcements. Homie, of course they're not making any announcements. Everything is about to happen on Sunday. They're going to come out. Listen, I'm going to say it. Xbox is they're going to have a banger. They're going to have a banger. They have too many games to not have a banger. I wonder if we see Gears of War gameplay, E-Day. I'm serious. Of course I'll stream the showcase on Sunday. I do this every year, Deuterino. If it's Summer Game Fest, we cover pretty much everything. We cover the big ones. We cover PlayStation, we cover Keighley, we cover Future Game Show, Xbox, PC Game Show, and then I don't know about the Kojima Death Stranding 2 thing late on Sunday. I don't know about that. That's at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, bro, as a live streamer, when you pivot your schedule around like that, it can be really, really hard on my sleep schedule and my energy. Like, I've got to be able to boot up and be high energy Monday morning. I can't boot up and be like, oh, we stayed up and watched Kojima. Like, it's like uploaders have the advantage of like they could stay up late, make a bunch of content, then crash out and sleep through Monday morning. I don't have the luxury of doing that. So, and a renewal from Chase Hayden, 31 months, not to get off topic, but I'm pumped for the showcase for 007. Yes, IOI showcase. I believe we will also be co-streaming that. The exact dates and times, I forget. I believe it's Friday at some point. The schedule is in here, kind of rattling around. Yeah, Devolver is also, I believe, on Friday night as well. I believe. Keep the panel numbers. Yeah. Keep the panel number down, Mooch. I ain't coming on there with 10 people. I don't like that. I'm not trying to be a diva. I'm not asking for, the temperature of the room and a glass of water at a particular temperature. I just, doing a podcast with 10 people, I can't do it. I can't talk. I don't like being rude and talking over people. I can't get into gear. I can't get into gear. It's actually the opposite. I don't like to be rude, and I feel like I have to be rude when there's that many people, and I just prefer to say, I can't. I'm not able. I lack that skill set. Xbox is the best at shows. Yeah, their shows are always amazing. I have preferred, within marketing and showcases, I prefer Xbox. They're super reliable. I always kind of know what to expect. The game delivery has not been reliable, but the shows are always great. I used to eviscerate the PlayStation showcases pre-2019. Like pre-2019 when they actually went to E3, I freaking hated their showcases. I hated PlayStation showcases. I did not like them. They were like overindulgent artistic crap. I couldn't stand them. And a single's going to come in from DK Bager. He's going to bump the line to 207. Thank you so much. This should now be a 6. Yeah. This should be a 6. I forgot to add to this. The battle between YouTube and Twitch is going to Twitch today. You guys are letting them have it. You're letting them have the victory. I don't know if they'll shadow drop the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. That feels like something that they could get a lot of pre-orders for. You're getting yours on Sunday? That's unfortunate, Paul. I ordered 3, hoping that I'd actually have one day of, but that's probably a dadgum pipe dream. 2016 E3 was amazing, though. I don't remember that far back. I remember the one E3 where it was Sean Layden, and they did Everybody in the Room for The Last of Us, and they had somebody playing a dadgum guitar, and they did a freaking intermission. They did a dadgum intermission in the middle of the showcase, and it ruined. We didn't get to see the trailer when it started, where we learned that Cade 6 was going to die in Destiny 2. It was so dumb. I hated it. I was like, this is a terrible way to structure your showcase. I was pretty critical of it. Yo, it's good. Incarcerated Lit, how are you? Appreciate you. Okay, my kiddos are back. I was like, I'm hearing something in the house. The composer of the game. I don't mind when they want to do fun stuff like that. It's just that when you're watching at home, it's like, I'm not in the room with some guy playing the guitar. Why are you doing an intermission and relocating everybody? $5 super chat tip from Manuel says PlayStation had some of the best showcases between 2013 and 2018. That was their golden years. I didn't like them. I didn't. I always thought the Xbox showcases were better back then. What was the one PlayStation showcase that kept moving locations? Yeah, that was the one. They had a dadgum intermission. What's good, A9S9? How are you? We're super close to the 200 like count on YouTube, y'all. Let me see it. Just a couple more likes. I think it was 2018. That was their last year. Yeah. That was their last year, because I was there in 2019. I did main stage, the main stage hosting for Twitch, and PlayStation was not there in 2019. So I just always thought the Xbox showcases were better. I thought the Xbox showcases were always structured in a way where, like, if you were at home, you could watch it and enjoy it. You didn't feel like you were like, well, if you're not there, you know, they're shooting T-shirts into the crowd and having live music. It's like, no. Venom. What's the new Bungie drama? I don't know. I've not been paying attention. I did all my marathon content and then just stopped paying attention to them, as they are likely spiraling internally, would be my assumption, given everything that happened. Jeffrey, with 4 months of memberships on YouTube, says, having feeling tomorrow's show is going to be fire for Sony. Also kind of interested in the Portal. You think it's worth it? Usually out working a lot. Okay, so the Portal is as good as your internet connection. So if you're at home, it's really great because you're on the same network. If you're out and about, it really depends on the strength of the Wi-Fi. It also depends on the game that you're going to try to play. Like, I wouldn't try to play Sekiro on it, but you could probably play something like, like an action-adventure game, or, Expedition 33 would be okay, but the parries and the dodges are pretty tight, so that might be kind of tough. So yeah, I don't know. Sony killed all paid promotion. No, we don't have it on good authority anymore. They killed all paid promotion. Colin Moriarty came out and clarified his comments in that they had canceled all paid promotion in that market. Now, I think it stands to reason that if you're canceling all paid promotions in a particular market, you're probably also canceling paid promotions in other markets. Like, you would just pick one market to be like, not there. Like, they're likely killing all paid promotion, likely, because they've got to make sure they're not using any of the stolen assets that they stole from the artist. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I had people trying to claim that, like, I falsely reported that they had canceled. I said, I did not report that. I reported what Moriarty said, and Moriarty's sentence, taken at face value, was that, yes, there was no more marketing for the game at all, paid for by PlayStation. And I don't think that's an illogical thing to conclude, because if they had paid for a bunch of marketing materials to get shipped and pushed out and scheduled, they had to make sure that none of that went out with stolen assets. So it stands to reason that, yes, the marketing is probably not happening until it can be rebuilt, restructured. PlayStation could be saying, we don't really feel like marketing that game. Now, people thought that Marathon being included in a montage was a refutation of that claim. What these people don't understand is those montages are not made overnight. They're typically made far in advance and scheduled and ready to go. We know this from insider information about how showcases, trailers, and sizzle reels are put together. They're not slapped together quickly overnight. They have to follow, branding standards. They have to follow all of the rules of every single company that submitted footage or has their logo present, because there's branding standards for color, negative space around logos, things like this. All of those standards are then adhered to by the company, the marketing company, or the marketing department that puts the trailer together, right? So the trailer that included Marathon was not even remotely, to me, compelling to think that, oh no, marketing's still going forward for Marathon. I don't think so. That trailer was likely made long before the controversy took place, and they said ship it. I think Keighley had the same attitude. I think Keighley has a sizzle reel for Summer Game Fest, and Marathon's included. And I think he said, I'm not pulling it. It's not my fault. Like, I made this, or my team made this, or whoever made this. We're shipping it. Now, Marathon could still be included in Summer Game Fest on Bungie's dime. You have to remember, Bungie is the publisher of that game. So if Bungie's the publisher, they could be footing the bill for any presence within the showcase season that we're entering right now. Marathon is definitely dead in the water. I mean, I think it is. I think that they are. I think they're going to ship it, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think them showing Wolverine announcement trailer at the beginning of the gen has really got people antsy, waiting so long to see more. Right, but I don't think people are being consistent, because plenty of games were shown early in the gen and they are still not out yet. It's not just Wolverine. Fable's not out yet. State of Decay 3's not out yet. This is not abnormal for studios to do a cinematic announcement trailer and then you don't get to see anything. It'll be a long time before we see anything more from Blade, I would imagine. Elder Scrolls 6. None of this is abnormal behavior. I've not been critical of any of those early announcements. What I get critical of is when they keep showing up to showcases with more cinematic trailers. Case in point, if the next time we see Fair Games, if that game is still coming to market, if it's just another cinematic trailer, I would be very critical of that. I would be. Because you've already done your cinematic trailer announcement. You already have. If you do one cinematic trailer announcement and then we don't hear anything for a bunch of years, I'm totally okay with that. That doesn't bother me. I don't find that frustrating. What I find frustrating is when you just keep showing up with cinematics, or the thing I was critical of with PlayStation's showcase 2 years ago was, hey, you finally do a showcase and all of your first-party games are cinematic trailers except for Spider-Man 2. That, to me, was weak. That's not a good marketing showing. That isn't. They could have saved themselves a lot of trouble with Concord if they would have let people see the game way before we did. People would have said, that doesn't look very good. And they maybe could have assessed the viability of the project, canceled it ahead of time, and saved themselves the embarrassment. Fair Games is done. What do you mean? Oh, you're saying done. How could it release after the fiasco of Concord? I think Fair Games is 100% cooked. It's cooked. I think it's done. They did a recent playtest. It's a dadgum BR. What'd they say it was like? A combination of Fortnite and a heist game, or Fortnite. It was a combination. Oh, Fortnite and Division. I agree with Anthony. Wolverine's just not another game. Neither is Elder Scrolls 6. Neither is Fable. Like, these are not just other games. These are big titles that we heard about and nothing happened for a very, very long time. I don't think, and again, a cinematic for Wolverine alongside a cinematic for Spider-Man 2, it's clear that you didn't expect to get both those games at the exact same time, right? Quarterfish, thank you so much for using your Twitch Prime on me. Guys, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, every month you can use your Twitch Prime on my Twitch channel. And the next milestone will be 225. We'll see whoever decides to take it. Does Wolverine do more numbers than Spider-Man? No. No one can compete with Spider-Man. As far as superhero popularity, no. No one can do more than Spider-Man. Spider-Man's the most globally popular superhero. He's the most iconic, most recognized, and the most popular. Batman? No. Not even close. Like, not even close globally. No. Spider-Man takes the cake. Now, in America, Superman close? No. Superman is too bound up with American iconography and American, history. Superman is too closely associated with America. Spider-Man is the most globally popular superhero and has been for a long time. Superman, there are countries that would never like Superman. Batman, I think, is in contention, but not close to Spidey. Yo, James MC, thank you so much for using your Prime sub on my channel. I appreciate that very, very much. That doesn't cost you a thing if you guys are already paying for Amazon Prime. Do you think we'll see any more of Fable this year since they delayed it until next year? Take? It's not an take. This has all been documented and researched. It's not a take. What I'm saying is factual. Spider-Man is king. Spider-Man globally is the god tier superhero. He is the most popular. Superman is not, because again, he's too wound up in and bound up in America. Like, so many of his early renditions of comics had him standing in front of an American flag. Truth, justice, and the American way. Like, that's Superman. You know what I mean? More powerful than a locomotive. Faster than a speeding bullet. Look, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Superman is 100% like a difficult superhero to be popular outside of America. Spider-Man is the most popular. He's king, man. Just looked it up. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, top 3. Yeah, Batman is in contention with Spidey. He is. But Spidey almost always wins when you go global popularity. When you go America, it gets all over the place. Like, sometimes Batman's more popular. It depends on movie timings and stuff too. Comic runs and movie timings affect the popularity of individual superheroes in America. So sometimes it's Spidey, sometimes it's Batman, sometimes it's Superman. They kind of change positions. In any case, I don't know if we see anything from Wolverine. I'm typically of the opinion that we won't hear or see anything about Wolverine until we're within 18 months of it releasing. So if Wolverine is there, then it's going to be like a holiday release next year. If Wolvie's there. If Wolvie is not there, then your last hope would be that he shows up at the Game Awards, or if they are in fact doing some kind of an event or showcase in September. That would be my thought. Wolverine is still big. Yeah, but if you want to really compare popularity of Wolverine to Spider-Man, I mean, come on, boys. It's not even a competition. That's not even a competition. I love Wolverine as much as the next guy, but he ain't even in the same league as popularity as Spider-Man is. Sorry, he's just not. You think the Horizon community will be on board with a cartoonified art style? I understand constraints, but it's a shame to lose Decima's semi-realism. Yeah, I'm not really sure what it's going to look like, Maloon. I do wonder if if the gameplay is going to be what really, really matters. You know, if it's sort of like a multiplayer co-op sort of Monhun kind of game where you go out and fight the big monsters with your buddies, that might be what really wins people over. You know what I mean? Because people all said Fortnite looked stupid, and then it became insanely popular because the skill expression in building and the loop of that battle royale was just very, very compelling. It won a lot of people over, you know, and I think that says something. And I think if they can nail the content loop of a Horizon, not an MMO, but a Horizon sort of like multiplayer game, the content loop is really going to be what sells people, not necessarily the graphics. Now, the graphics could be off-putting, but I don't know. I trust Guerrilla to not mistreat their property. Until they give me a reason to doubt them, I don't doubt them. I think they've done, other than Aloy showing up in Genshin, I didn't like that. I feel like they've done a pretty good job respecting their property. How popular is Venom? I'm not sure. Anybody who's adjacent to Spider-Man is probably pretty popular as a villain. You know, it's like the Joker's pretty popular because of Batman. So I would imagine, you know, Venom, Doc Ock, Carnage, like these guys are probably pretty popular within, you know, Green Goblin. They're probably pretty popular villains because they're adjacent to Spider-Man. And when you look like Spider-Man, Venom matches the iconography. He's just big and grotesque. Then that, I think, probably helps as well because he's recognizable, you know. And there's probably a reason they greenlit Venom movies, because he probably is a very recognizable and popular Spider-Man villain. If you go to the store and you look at merch, that's also sometimes an indication of the popularity of a particular superhero. And there's lots of Spider-Man, and then there's also lots of Venom merchandise because he looks cool. You know, when a villain looks cool, that's usually in their corner. He looks a whole lot cooler than, you know, Electro. You know, if you're trying to get a kid to buy a t-shirt, he's probably going to like Venom. Your mom is big and grotesque. I mean, we don't got to take it there. You know, Zubair. I know the words big and grotesque are triggering for you, but you don't need to do that. The animated art style is just cheaper to develop for. Well, it also makes it a little less taxing if you're going to do like a multiplayer game, because you try to do like, if you try to do photorealism and you got 4 people running around, that's a problem. And we all know why, because you're basically creating an environment where all that has to be housed somewhere. Who's hosting it? Is it a dedicated server? You know, and then you got the net code of like resolving all the different things that are happening, whether the lighting, the shadows, the animations, where's that housed? How's that running? If it's running on everybody's individual rigs, then how do you resolve all that server side? Oh, you chopped the tree down? You walked through the tall grass, and my game has to move according to what you're doing. Like, it's just, that's quite a bit to do. And so they'll trim all that down with respect to, you know, processing bandwidth to get to a place where it's more manageable. So what do you guys think about the PlayStation State of Play? With it only 1 day in advance notice, 40 plus minutes, do you think we see a lot of first party? Or do you think, and because this is what I think they're going to heavily lean on third party. That's my prediction. I think they're going to play that lead position. They know that they can keep a lot of their first party cards close to their chest. I think they're going to keep doing that. I think it's infuriating to people that are dying to see more. I think it's frustrating to people who would love to see them walk out and just absolutely just barrage us with first party. I do not think they are going to do that. They may do that in September if they decide to do a mid-gen showcase. That may be when they decide to say, here's our crazy, really strong first-party lineup, and that's when they'll go, boom, Yote, boom, Sorrows, boom, you know, Phantom Blade Zero, boom, Wolverine, boom, Intergalactic, you know, boom, Cory Barlog's game. Like, I don't necessarily think a 40-minute state of play is when they'll do that. If they decide to go heavy on first-party presence, it will not be at this event. If it's not releasing by the end of 2026, I don't care about what they show, says Eugene. Do you guys agree with that mentality of like, because I'm of a similar mind. I don't want to hear or see games that aren't coming out within the next year, basically. If something's coming out end of 2026, holiday of 2026, I'm perfectly fine to hear about it or see it. If it's beyond that, dude, there's just no reason to tell me about it. There's a real particular reason why companies, I think, should start to reevaluate their marketing timing. The market is filling, and it's filling fast. This year's a deluge of games. I mean, we are getting flooded with games. So there's no point in being like, hey, our game's coming out in like 3 years. No one cares. No one cares. My backlog is enormous. I've got huge games in front of me, and we've got huge games coming next year. If your game is 2 to 3 years away, you want to do your cinematic announcement, that's fine. But don't show up if all you're going to do is another cinematic announcement and be like 2027 at the end of the trailer. Nobody cares. If you need to do that because you're trying to hire talent, if you need to make sure the world knows you're making a game, whether it's the shareholders, public confidence, or again, you're trying to hire people to come work for you, well, then that's fine. I get that. But you don't need to show up every year and be like, hey guys, here's another cinematic of our game that you've been hearing about for 4 years. Nope, no. You show up with gameplay and a release date or stay away. If you've already announced your game, if you've already done your cinematic trailer, it's time to put up or shut up. Like, it's time to give me gameplay and a release date or don't say anything. I don't know if I was making a new IP, I'll plant the seed early. For established IPs, 12 months is good. Right, so hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that cinematic trailers and announcement trailers are not allowed, but don't just keep doing that. Do you see what I'm saying? You can shoot that shot once. It's like a flare gun. Shoom! It goes up, it gets everybody's attention. Yay, thank you. After that, it's time to really show me something. Show me actual gameplay. Give me a release date. If not, there's just no reason to say anything. There's no reason to keep doing that. You keep showing up, and it's like, oh yeah, we're finally going to see this. And it's just a cinematic, and then 2027. And like, what? I think how full this year is should start playing a role in how companies think, like, why would we say anything? The year is so full. You're just going to end up being ignored. Thank you for the $2 super chat tip. Joker Quinn, do you think we see Intergalactic? No. I think your two highest probable appearances, if they're going to be substantive appearances, I think Yote's first in line, followed by Saros. Now, Saros said we're going to get a better look at their gameplay later in the year. I don't know if they meant the summer. They could have their own state of play. They could be involved in whatever's going on in September. I just don't know. I really don't. Saros, there's a likelihood that Saros is there given what they said, but I just don't know. A question was submitted by Frank Last. This is something you can do as a member or a sub. Guys, it's up for the taking right now. Get those gifteds and renewals in. One of the platforms can grab the next milestone. And Frank says, what do you think the motivation for showcasing Witcher 4 on PlayStation 5 versus a beefy PC? I'll tell you. They are clearly making sure that people know the narrative is no longer, hey, look how insanely pretty our game is. Look how great this lighting is. Look how great these shadows are. They're like, you need to make sure you talk about performance, because that's been a very big sticking point. That's been a big frustration, not just with Unreal. It certainly has been a frustration with Unreal. But listen, the public is tired of, it's really pretty, and then it runs poorly. I think people are sick of it. And so they're doing a little bit of PR to say, this is running on a base PS5 with ray tracing at 60 FPS. And everybody perks up and says, wait, what? You're running this on just a normal current-gen console, and you're getting this? Zubair says, they did it to get Lona's attention, and it worked. Right. Because you're not going to get my attention going into the details of well, what we do with the individual light strands is we basically make them bounce off of the metal through AI permutations and predictions of where it will actually land after that. And what that gives you is a living reflection on the wall behind it. I'm like, I don't freaking care about that. Is it going to run well? Is it going to look stuttery? am I going to be able to get 60 FPS? I think the average consumer, and beyond the average consumer, I think gamers are just tired of like, we turned everything up to 11 and it runs like hot garbage. Like, no one cares about that. Nobody cares. It's annoying. So I think what they came out with was, let's show how pretty it can be while also saying it runs well. That's what I think the purpose of that was. And a super chat from Googly says, the protagonist in Intergalactic looks so hot that I don't want to see any trailer, let alone play it in, 5 years' time? I don't think it's that far out. Not at all. I think it's like a year to 2 year out. None of what you said was close to accurate, Lono. I now know less about graphics work for having heard that. Ledbetter said at a conference they were asked by a large dev, what do they think the low in performance is usually aimed at? And they said PlayStation 5. And they said that Dave got mad and said, no, it's 4060 GPUs. I don't understand what that. Flesh out that conversation for me, Wired Rope, a little bit more. Guys, stretch goal this week. Lono does one show in a full British accent. Oh, I don't know about that. Lono, every state of play the past year has shown a new PlayStation published game. Fizzant, Astro, Yote, Saros, and I think tomorrow Horizon Online. Okay, Maloon, I actually think that's a pretty good observation that they've been using the PlayStations to, the state of plays to announce new games. Yeah, the dev got mad. Oh, the dev got mad. You said the Dave got mad. I was like, Dave? Who's Dave? Okay. So they were asked by a large dev, what do they think the low in performance is usually aimed at? And they said PlayStation 5. The dev got mad and said, no, it's a 4060 GPU. Do you think they show some Mafia the Old Country? Mafia the Old Country just did a gameplay debut middle of last month. We covered it. So they'll show more. I don't know if it'll be a particular, I don't know where they'll do it. I don't know if they'll take aim at a state of play, Game Fest kickoff with Keighley, future game show, or the Xbox showcase. I don't know. I don't know where they've been planting their marketing flag. Is there a showcase? No, there is a PlayStation State of Play tomorrow, June the 4th, 5 p.m. Eastern. We will co-stream it. We'll do a waiting room tomorrow about it. We'll discuss it. We're kind of discussing it now. There was also a State of Unreal stream today, and they showed off some really, really impressive stuff with The Witcher 4 with respect to lighting, shadows, fidelity, performance. Really, really good stuff. I want this video re-uploaded at 60 FPS, though, because the broadcast, I believe somebody complained about that. You can select, hang on, you can select, what the frick? Here you go. You can select this, but I think if you go stats for nerds, yeah, they were running this at 30. So I don't know if we can get the video uploaded somewhere at 60. Cuz they said, hang on. They said it was running at 60, but when you're watching something at 30, I mean, which ANDA seat do you have? If you use the chair command, you can see which seat I have. It's the X Pro Air or the X Air or something like that. What's it called? The X Air series. Yeah. It's their high back mesh ergonomic, and if you use my chair link there, that will support me. Say to play tomorrow, then another on Sunday with Phil Spencer. I get the joke. I don't find it particularly that funny. I mean, I get why people are saying the joke, because basically everything announced during the Xbox showcase on Sunday will also be coming to PlayStation. But you know, maybe don't get ahead of yourself there, because they could still have some things that come to their platform first, or that you have to wait on as a PlayStation user. You know, it is not a guarantee that everything is coming day and date. I mean, obviously that's the future of that brand and platform. So, but yeah. State of Play for Death Stranding 2. I'm not quite sure Detective Seeds had one detail right. He had one detail right, that it was a 40-plus minute state of play. He had the timing wrong. His source told him it would be the week before Death Stranding 2 came out. That's not true. It's tomorrow. So he had his timing off. But, you know, I was off by a day. And thank you guys for contributing. Frayed Voyager contributed some bits to the channel over here on Twitch. Thank you very, very much. We have our friendly little competition going on down here in the corner. Twitch is crushing it 83-26. YouTube, I can't believe you're just going to take it lying down like that. And the next milestone is 225. I'm all paid up. I will owe 5 more members to whichever platform makes it hits the next milestone. So do your celebrations, do your Twitch primes, do all those things. It moves the number. There could still be a Death Stranding 2 state of play later. If they were to do another state of play later in June, the week before it comes out, then it would make sense how Detective Seed's source got his wires crossed. And a 5-bomb comes in from Dylan, and he says, absolutely not. We are not going to take this lying down. Putting out the rallying cry for YouTube to pick up the slack here and answer. Answer back. There we go. Today on Digital Foundry, Elden Ring Night Rain is a case of a great game. Shame about the tech. Nothing really changed since the first game's 2022 debut, and Night Rain doesn't even have a bespoke PS5 Pro support. Like I said in my video, that game should have flopped. If it was any other studio, it would have flopped. People would be angry and furious at the performance, at the lack of features. They're scrambling to add things. Like, way to prove my point in my video. People are like, well, they're trying to fix solo, and they said they're going to add duos. Oh, so what you're saying is they launched something that wasn't even remotely ready and didn't even meet, like, the minimum of player expectations. And a single comes in from Stone Spire. Thank you. I see what Stone Spire's doing. He's setting up the 10-bomb. We are exactly 10 members away from the milestone, and whoever hits it gets it. This is the perfect time to steal. You guys keep getting really close and you let somebody else take it. This is the easy steal because you're not making like down to 1 or 2 and then Twitch grabs it. So there are things that need to be fixed and fixed quickly. Almost as if they're scrambling because they're not seeing the results they probably wanted internally. Thank you, Frank, for doing a Member Plus renewal over here on YouTube. I appreciate that so much. And that bumps the line by 1. Thank you, sir. 2 games this year have been protected by their size, Monster Hunter and Night Rain. I never want to hear people complain about poor performance and substandard releases ever again. I think that's well stated, Eugene. I have 2 videos on the channel talking about that. I talked about how Monster Hunter Wilds is what's wrong with gaming because everybody overlooks glaring problems in a game that's not ready for the market because you're all huge fans. And then you overlook the issues in Night Rain for the same dadgum reason. And a 5-bomb comes in from Goat Gaming, the lunatic from Twitter who insists that Herman Holst and I are in a relationship. Thank you so much. And that bumps the line in the contest 38-83. It is now a palindrome. And then 221. We are 4 members away from the next milestone. Thank you so much, Goat Gaming. It's a 5-bombs grasp. Who's taking it? I'm interested to see if Marathon will show up at all. I could see it not. And a 5-bomb comes in from Frank. There it is. YouTube's first victory of the day. And then a 5-bomb comes in from Pork Pie. Little too slow, Twitch. Just a little too slow. That one goes to YouTube. But you still are maintaining your lead, Twitch. You are 88-43. Really making it look tough on YouTube today. Thank you, Pork Pie, for the 5. You guys are crushing it. Both sides are crushing it. We are now a 20-bomb away from the next milestone. And Joker Quinn's just going to come in and poke it with a stick. And he says, let's do another single. And he gets it to 232. And the total for YouTube jumps to 44. And a super chat comes in from Googly and says, Lono now feels my pain of wanting horrible-looking Nintendo games to flop. Yet they don't. I'm getting Switch 2 in 24 hours. Midnight launch. Even in Hong Kong. Yeah, but those are not equivalencies, Googly. Those are not equivalencies. No. Games coming to a Switch, which launched in 2017 and is basically a graphing calculator in strength, is not the same as a world-renowned developer, FromSoft, delivering a game that is just missing base level features. No crossplay, no voice chat. You can only play as a trio. It's not even remotely tuned for solo. They're scrambling to make solo more playable, and now they're also scrambling to say, well, we'll add duos later. That is not an equivalency to games launching on the Switch 1 and not performing that well. They're not even in the same ballpark of issues. One is honestly an issue of your own expectations not being in line with the dadgum device. That's on you. This is just a multiplayer game that's not built for multiplayer. I just went and looked, and Jeff Grubb said he was guessing they would have a state of play but was never told about it. No, that's not true. That's not what he did. He said that there was an event coming in June from PlayStation. That was what he had heard, and he did not know if it was a state of play or a showcase. He said his guess was they would do a state of play. So, Donald, I think you're misunderstanding. Grubb indicated that he heard PlayStation was doing something in June, and he said, I don't know if it's a state of play or a showcase, ... Now he makes his own prediction. He guessed and predicted it would be a state of play. So two things happened. He got information, an event in June from PlayStation. So that's all he got. It was too vague for him to say definitively what it was. So you set that down, and then he made a prediction that he believed it would be a state of play. I agreed with him and said I thought it would be June the 5th to kick off Summer Game Fest. I should have made a better prediction. I should have considered that the launch date of the Nintendo Switch 2 was not a day that PlayStation would want to be doing an event. Wednesday makes way more sense. I would have made a better prediction if I would have considered the Switch 2 release, but the lack of marketing for the Switch 2 just left the frame for me. I was like, it'll be here when it gets here. They're not really marketing Switch 2, and it seems in large part due to the fact that, it's already sold like crazy, so they're probably saving their marketing spend for when it'll actually be the most effective. Like, marketing it now doesn't make any sense. Grubb actually starts the conversation saying it was harder than normal to get his sources to talk this time around as well. That tells me they might have more first party than I'm expecting. Because if PlayStation's being super, super duper tight-lipped about this state of play, then that would mean they're being more protective than usual, which would make me think they've got more of their own stuff in play. If it's just a bunch of third-party stuff, them being secretive is harder because there's so many people involved. If it's a lot of their own stuff, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not trying to get anybody hyped up. But PlayStation being more tight-lipped and somebody like Grubb struggling to get information, that to me communicates that they might have more of their stuff in play than I'm thinking. Because I originally told you guys earlier in the show, it's a 40 plus minute showcase. I expect maybe 10 minutes of first party, and everything else, the other half an hour, is going to be third party. That's just how PlayStation operates now. They don't overwhelm their events with their own stuff. They don't. Number one, they don't need to. They like to let their stuff breathe, and they make so much money on third party, it would be stupid to not maintain those good relationships and use their platform to promote third party games. You got to think about what that does for their relationships with third party developers and publishers. Man, it's great working with Sony. They help us get the game to market. They market our stuff during their showcases, and that really helps us. The PS5 Pro is great. They'll help us leverage that technology. Like, there's a big play there that I think a lot of times people miss because they're console warring on Twitter, and it's like PlayStation's playing a completely different game. They're playing a game where they want devs to prefer them de facto, and I think it's worked rather well. Everybody's like scrambling to do updates to their games for the PS5 Pro. I wonder why. Because Cerny went and talked to devs and said, what do you want? And, okay, I'll give you more of that. And devs are like, that's great. We want to do the stuff that you just gave us. You gave us more stuff. You gave us more power. I disagree, says Maloon. I think they do state of plays as smaller shows because if they didn't, they'd always call them a showcase. The fact that degrees and branding suggest they view calibers. I believe you're correct, but I believe you're missing a shade of color, Maloon. They do like little 20-minute showcases that are like indies and VRs and stuff like that. Anytime it's longer, anytime it's 40 plus minutes, I consider it almost like a mini showcase. So there's like 20-minute state of plays. There's like these little mini showcases that they do that are close to an hour. And then there's the 1 to 2 hour long showcase. Somewhere in that ballpark. I think that's how they structure it. Games via state of play, says Corey. I think the days of big blowout showcases are coming to an end because there's no real demand. I still think they do a mid-gen showcase in September, Corey. I do. I think they cast a vision for the second half of this gen in September. They've got so many games that they can use to say, this is where you want to be, man. I went and looked at Seed's tweet as well. He said to take the date of the state of play with a grain of salt as they could push it live earlier, so it seems that PlayStation is much tighter. And Reforge Gaming comes with a 5-bomb. Yeah, I owed YouTube 5. We are now 20 away from the next milestone. It's easier to steal from the other side if you do the bigger bombs, because as soon as we get close, somebody can snake it with a single gifted. They legit announced Ghost release date as a blog post, so Sony is 100% doing their own thing as long as announcements come. I don't care about how. Yeah, they announced some of their PC ports that way too, Adam. It was like, oh wow, we're finally hearing about a PC port as a blog? Like, I remember didn't they do that with Returnal? I was like, what the frick? Like, that's all it gets? I said it yesterday. PlayStation is the literal hardest company to predict their behavior. Whether they do a PlayStation State of Play or a PlayStation Showcase, my batting average with predicting what they're going to do with marketing, it's terrible. I've consistently been able to predict things that like Nintendo's going to do, like when I said the new Mario Kart will be an exclusive to Switch 2 because of how well it sold. I got the price right on the Switch 2. I predicted a lot of what Xbox was going to do. I predicted how they were going to handle their own marketing. I predicted their own talking points. When it comes to PlayStation, I'm like, I think they're going to do this. And they're like, you know, we're actually going to do the exact opposite of that. I was like, oh yeah, State of Play at the beginning of this year. Yeah. What was it, February? I was like, oh yeah, there'll be some Yote. There'll be some Death Stranding 2. There'll be some Lost Soul Aside. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to let Housemarque announce Sorrows. It's like, huh? What? You know what I mean? Like, they're really hard to predict. Yeah, I tweeted about that yesterday, Fuzzy. So, Death Stranding 2 is in the wild. It's in the hands of the reviewers. They basically have a little more than 3 weeks to play it. I think because they had it before their pictures started going out. So I think they've probably had somewhere between 3 and 4 weeks of the game. We'll say 3 weeks. 3 weeks with the game. Embargo drops 3 days before release. Kojima cooked, boys. He cooked. My man said, I'm going to let you play 40 hours at a preview event. I'm going to give you 3 weeks to play and review the game. And we're going to have an embargo 72 hours before the game releases. My man cooked. A whole meal. He's the only one left that could beat Expedition 33 for Game of the Year. He's the only one left. He might do it. He might do it. Saint Kojima could ride in and steal that frickin' trophy. I don't think he will. I think it's going to Expedition 33. Expedition 33 is in a different stratosphere of love. It's not just enjoyed, liked, and praised. It's like a beloved game. No, Yote doesn't stand a chance at beating. Yote can get a nomination. Yote does not stand a chance at beating Expedition 33. Listen to me. There's a ceiling on what you can do with a game like Yote. You're not going to make Yote good enough to unseat the way that people feel about Expedition 33. There is an emotional entanglement with how people feel about Expedition 33. You don't disrupt that with a really, really good Ghost of Yote. You don't. I'm sorry. Expedition 33 has elevated itself beyond just usual praise. It's like when it's like when Baldur's Gate 3 was talked about with, industry disruptive language. I'd smash The over on that Yote bet, you stand to lose, sir. Yote is like my most anticipated game this year, and I can see with straight eyes. With straight eyes. No, that's not the phrase. I can see with clear eyes that there's just no way. There's no way. I do have straight eyes. I mean, I'm straight. But that's not a phrase, I don't think. There's just no way, boys. I'm already conceding defeat. 2 of my most anticipated games this year, Death Stranding 2 and Yote, I don't think they're going to win. I think they'll get nominated. I think Death Stranding 2 gets nominated, no question. Yote very much likely gets a nomination. I don't think they beat Expedition 33. I can see with my non-gay eyes. Beg to differ? You can differ all you want. You will lose this bet. You will lose this bet. I bet you a 50-member bomb, Yote does not win Game of the Year. It won't. It could get nominated. It will not win. Lono's most anticipated game is a bit of a kiss of death. You're freaking right. It is. You did dadgum Hellblade 2, and then... Oh, you're meaning being gay. Oh. Well, my eyes are fluid. Some days I'm like, whoo, wow. That guy's hot. And then other days I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Ghost of Yote will just be another open world game, probably of higher quality than most, but it has no chance against Expedition 33 or Death Stranding 2. Let's imagine that Expedition 33 didn't exist. I don't even think Yote could beat Death Stranding 2, boys. I don't think it could. Siri with a $5 super chat tip says, has a Sony exclusive ever beaten a multi-plat darling? What did The Last of Us Part 2 go up against? I don't know. Yo, a 5-bomb comes in from Siriu. He's not just doing a super chat. He's doing a gifted bomb. You guys, YouTube, you got to answer back here, man. You are losing on the daily contest to Twitch. Holy mackerel. Yeah, Astrobot beat Black Myth Wukong. God of War beat Red Dead Redemption 2. And what did The Last of Us Part 2 beat? Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, Astrobot beat Wukong, and that was a multi-plat. It wasn't a media darling, but it was a multi-plat, like, super popular game. You doubt that Expedition 33 will beat Death Stranding 2? I've continued to say that that Kojima is the only one that can beat Expedition 33. He's the only one. Okay, yeah, you could say The Last of Us Part 2 beat Hades. That was kind of a multi-plat darling. Like, everybody really, really loved it. But yeah, Last of Us Part 2 won against Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal. Well, Doom Eternal was a multi-plat beloved game as well. But I don't know if it was a multi-plat darling. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. Those are the games that The Last of Us Part 2 beat. So yeah, PlayStation has a pretty good track record of beating pretty big names in the Game of the Year run, but Expedition 33 is not a big game. It's not some big popular game. It is a beloved title. You guys need to see that. There is something that happens when a game ascends to that status. You can't unseat that easily. You can't. Expedition 33 is beloved. It's above, like, oh, people like it. People are vibing with it. Its dadgum soundtrack went viral, boys. You understand that, right? It's been injected into the DNA and the schema of people's existence. You're not talking about a game that people liked and gave a good score. Its soundtrack went viral. That's people that are like, just inject that game into my veins. I can't get enough of it. They can't get enough of it. You're going to have a really hard time beating that game. And it's not just about the score. It isn't. Kojima can get a great score. Whoever Lono just bet, I saved the clip. Oh, yeah, Yote won't win Game of the Year. No, that's an easy bet. I win that bet every time. I know it. I don't even think Yote could beat Death Stranding 2 because Kojima's a tour de force. He's just too good. Even if Expedition 33 wasn't around. I told you that they would claim they fixed Siri. I told you they would claim that. We were watching that Witcher thing, and I said they're going to claim this as a victory. Oh yeah, they listened to our feedback. No, they didn't. No, they did not. I can't wait for the devs to come out and say we've not made any alterations to Siri's model based on your stupid, idiotic, grifting nonsense. She doesn't look any different. I told you they were going to claim it as a victory. It's their only path forward. It's undeniable that the game is gorgeous. It's undeniable that she is conventionally attractive. So they're all going to claim, yep, we won. They changed it for us. I called that before the dadgum game even had any more footage available. I said, I bet you $10 when this game comes out, they'll claim they changed her for us. Yeah, he says, gamer feedback works. They fixed Siri before and after Witcher 4. Mighty Keith says, I finally understand how these weirdos get a following. You claim an issue exists. Months later, you claim you fixed the issue when nothing actually changed. Say it enough and someone will believe you. That's precisely the point. He says they'll never admit it, but they changed Siri for the better. I truly hope that CD Projekt Red speaks directly to this false claim. They clearly made 0 changes, and you all grifted with bad screenshots. Just like Aloy and other examples. I'll just take the Aloy part out. I truly hope that CD Projekt Red speaks directly to this false claim. They clearly made 0 changes, and you all grifted with bad screenshots. I'm just freaking tired of it. I'm not even staying out of the ring anymore. I'll get right in the freaking ring. I'm so sick of it. Get the frick out of gaming. Get the frick out of gaming, you grifting liars. I hope CD Projekt Red comes out and directly speaks to no, we've not made any alterations to the character. No. We haven't. It's the same. She looks the same. I went through the original trailer and I showed you guys there were plenty of screenshots you could take that made her look like she does in the game. She looked pretty. She looked like she had a thin face. She looked like she had feminine features. You can take bad screenshots from bad angles where the lighting is hitting her and making her look more either pudgy or like she's scowling and looking angry. You can do that to anybody. You can do that to anybody. They do that with the tabloids all the time. They take a really bad picture of a celebrity to make them look fat. Hang on, I got to thank some people here. All right. 3 singles came in from Stonespire. Good golly. All right. Sorry, I'm allergic to the grifting BS. All right, 240. Give this man his 10 bomb. He just set up a 10 bomb. Give this man his 10 bomb. The 10 bomb to 250. Whoever hits it gets it. I got to go in here and set this to 52. Mile High with a $5 super chat tip says, I'm going to need Siri to stop gifting and super chatting. My truck keeps thinking that Lono is talking to Siri. Now it's happening again with Siri. You change your settings so that you have to say, hey. I don't say, hey. I had to do that with my own phone. You don't fix Siri. Siri fixes you. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Jack Garland. I say we ignore it. No. You do not ignore falsehood. You drag it into the light, kicking and screaming, and you expose it for what it is. I'm tired of playing nice with these freaking weirdos. There's no reason to play nice. There's no reason to indulge the fantasy and the delusion. Call it what it is. It's a dishonest grift. They make things up. They lie. They make up false claims. They misrepresent. They'll take pictures of Aloy and Photoshop them. Oh, they're making her ugly. She doesn't look like the actress. We've done literal side-by-sides overlays. They're liars. They're con men. There's no reason to stay out of the fight. I have seen plenty of people making content about this, getting plenty of support and plenty of agreement. It's not something where, like, you're going to go against the narrative and you're going to, like, oh, everybody's going to hate you and not like your content anymore. No. Truth doesn't have an expiration date. Grifting does. They are already losing relevancy. They are already losing viewership because everybody's over it. They're like, okay, clearly this isn't true. And what are you going to do when a game looks as good as The Witcher 4? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't. Oh yeah, but the first trailer we took a couple of screenshots, so go broke. No, you know they've got a banger on their hands. You can tell. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil, says Eugene. When truth leaves us, when we let it slip away, when it's ripped from our hands, we become vulnerable to the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. That's why I'm done. I'm not going to play nice anymore. I'm not going to sit here and sit on the sidelines and be like, yeah, and generically talk around it. No, you're grifting. It's fake. It's fake. I really do hope that CD Projekt Red specifically speaks to that character and how they built her and how they made her. Both sides are annoying. What do you mean, both sides, TJ Love? The opposite of a liar is a truth teller. What do you mean, both sides? What do you mean? The pic is fake? It's an intentionally bad screenshot. I literally made a post about this. Let me try and find my screenshot on this. Reforge Gaming Witcher 4. Let me see if I can find my screenshot when I talked about this. I called out the guy he was the CEO for the frickin', what game is it? Lords of the Fallen. And I called him out because I had screenshots where from the trailer that they all claimed that she looked ugly. And I was like, no, she doesn't. She does not. She looks like the character. Like she looks like she looks feminine. She looks like she looks in the new footage that they just shown. I'm trying to find the dadgum pictures and I can't find them. Both siding this is not applicable. Yeah, there is no both sides. There are people that lie and obfuscate and misrepresent and grift, and there are the rest of us that are like, shut the frick up. Like, we're tired of talking about this. Well, with all due respect, the last time you stood your ground with astroturfing, you felt bad about it afterwards? The frick I did. What are you talking about? I did, as the kids say, I stood on business. What are you talking about? I didn't feel bad about that. I called it what it was. Now, I retracted one statement. Where I insinuated that somebody was playing nice with Xbox to stay in good with Xbox. I retracted that. I don't take back anything I said about the astroturfing for Xbox. I 100% stand by what I said. AstroTurfing has been going on this entire gen for Xbox. You can do this little like obfuscation of pedantic argumentation to claim that like, well, nobody paid me to say these things. Okay, fine. You stayed in good with the company and got a lot of spiffs, a lot of perks, a lot of access, and you were running defense for them. You were running marketing talking points for Xbox. I've never once backed down from that summary. AstroTurfing was happening for Xbox, and it's continued to happen. And you want to come at me on Twitter because of my tweet, not you lying. You know, people want to come at me because of my Twitter, my tweet about that. You want to come at me calling out grifting? You go right the frick ahead. I'm not scared of these guys. My life was detonated 5 years ago. Who do you think you are with your rabble of angry men? Like, oh, I don't give a frick about these losers. I don't. Because truth wins every freaking time. I'm a testament to that. Lying and shading things and slanting things, it always loses because it doesn't stand the test of time. It doesn't stand the test of time. Truth always stands the test of time. It's undefeated. So I'm here to tell you, I don't care because I know I've seen clear evidence in the trajectories of their channels and the trajectories of their content. They're already losing. I told you guys in January they were going to lose relevancy. People were going to get sick of the grift. They were going to get sick of the BS. They were going to realize that so much of it was just drenched in dishonesty. They were going to move on. I think a lot of them are going to move on to political and cultural content. They're going to have to. Their coverage of gaming is just going to slowly dwindle and fade because it's not rooted in truth. It's rooted in misrepresentation. It's rooted in a misleading approach and a tactic that is so dadgum see-through by anybody with critical thinking. The only people they can maintain an audience with is people that refuse to actually look into things themselves. And eventually, they'll stumble on the right video and they'll realize, I'm getting frickin' lied to. Siri looked really aged but still attractive in the first trailer. I need to find those screenshots. I had screenshots where... I hate the search method on Reforge Gaming... Siri. I hate the search method on I hate the search message on Twitter. I can't find my tweet where I called out the guy who was claiming that they had listened to stuff, and they had not. It was a complete lie. It was a complete lie. They had not changed what she looked like. I can't find my dadgum tweet about it. I went and I got screenshots from the trailer and I said, look, you can clearly see there's multiple times in the trailer where she looks really, really feminine and really, really attractive. Her face shape is not what the bad screenshots would have you believe. They all use the same screenshots. They did the same dadgum thing with whenever they were talking about Aloy. Let me give you all these results. Yeah, I can't. What's that guy's? What's his name? What's his name? Lords of the Fallen CEO Twitter. I can find it that way. Lords of the Fallen CEO Twitter. Digital Dude with a $5 super chat. They're going to lose even more relevancy when Ghosts of Yotei and Intergalactic release. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Digital Dude. Is this him? This is him. Okay. So you got to search for my @ and then his @. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is a perfectly good example of what I'm talking about. This screenshot is from the trailer where they claim they made her look ugly and they made her look like mannish and I guess like puffy. This is exactly what she looks like in the new footage. And this is from the trailer they all claim where she looked bad. It's lighting. It all comes down to lighting. Because the lighting here is not coming from like a blazing sun on the right where like her chin is tucked down. This is just a normal picture of her. This is exactly what she looks like in the new footage. Here, let me see if I can find, let's see. Let me get a good close-up of her face. Here we go. There's no way you can tell me that they've changed the model. It's the same chin, it's the same jaw. It's all the exact same shape. And the lighting here is even softer. So here you're getting a much sharper image, and you can clearly see they have made 0 adjustments. Yeah, Wolf Saints, you found it. Thank you for finding the tweet. Let's see if we can get another picture over here. Wait. What the frick just happened? I had a good picture, and it like... Open image in a new tab. There we go. Once again, if you look at face shape, it's the exact same face shape. It's the exact same jaw. It's the exact same roundedness. It's just a lighting thing. It's always going to come down to lighting. Here's your confirmation from the devs. What are the devs saying? I hate to ask about that conversation from February's back again. Is this still the same Siri model? Yes. It's the same model. This is what I'm telling you. This guy was at the presentation. He is the game director for CD Projekt Red. If you guys think they went into their game mid-development and made drastic changes to what the character looks like because of some grifting weirdos on YouTube and Twitter, you're dadgum delusional. They wouldn't do that. They would not do that. They would say, are you freaking kidding me? No. Like, that's the character. That's the model. That's her face. It's the same. It's not any different. She looks much older than the Siri that we know. She looks less innocent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that again is okay. The same thing happens to Geralt, does it not? Geralt ages. Like, Geralt ages. He doesn't look the same. I'm gonna say it. CD Projekt Red is a Polish dev made up of a bunch of white guys. They aren't out there putting in a bunch of woke stuff. That's what I'm saying. There's probably going to be a bunch of, like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if there's a lot of sexy stuff in the game. Like, they're going to let that part of her show. It was in The Last Witcher. What you're seeing now is the actual game. You're seeing, like, oh, this is the game, not a cinematic where lighting changes, lighting shifts, and she looks different. We've seen this in multiple instances of cinematics and lighting with games where the lighting affects what the players look like significantly. The lighting affects what the world looks like significantly. We saw that with AC Shadows and Global Illumination. Lighting is an enormous aspect of what games look like. Isn't it realistic to think that we'll get Witcher next year? Oh, I don't think so. They're all hands on deck, but I think Witcher's 2027. NVIDIA CEO says Nintendo Switch 2 has the most advanced graphics ever in a mobile device. I don't know about all that. I know it's sort of irrelevant, but the PlayStation YouTube leaked one of the games because their thumbnail didn't upload properly, so Zenless Zone Zero is there. So if you see leaks without Zenless Zone Zero, you know it's fake. I don't understand. Thumbnail. How could a thumbnail include Zenless Zone Zero? The thumbnails for the State of Plays never include any game imagery. Yo, Jason West with 25 months. Lono, NorCal Garbage Man here. I may be off, but I think that Siri looks like the actress who plays Beth in Yellowstone. She does look like her a little bit. She favors her face shape. I think you're correct. That takes YouTube to 53. Man, Stone Spire's been the man with these setups, and no one has been helping him out. Hang on, I messed that up. There it is, 241. Change the lighting on Lono's face and tell how ugly he is. All they changed was contrast, tint, and sharpness. People don't understand about videography. Yeah, thumbnails are normally just the blue background. No, their latest thumbnails look like this. Their latest thumbnails look like... Open image in a new tab. They look like that. They use this as their new style for the marketing. And this tends to be the type of thumbnail that you'll see for a State of Play now. So if something is out there floating around, with the like images of games in the thumbnail, that would not make any sense. You'll see me proven right when Zenless Zone Zero is there tomorrow. I saw what I saw. I'm not saying that Zenless Zone Zero won't be there. I'm saying that's not how PlayStation does thumbnails. What you saw was probably something else. I think you're misfiring, brother. That's all I'm saying. I think you're misfiring. They've done state of plays and showcases for a very long time, and they never have gaming imagery on the thumbnail. Zenless Zone Zero being a part of the state of play doesn't necessarily prove you correct. Yeah, her. Yeah, 100%. What is she known for? I know, like, she's not just in Yellowstone. She's in something else that I recognize her from. CD Projekt Red released a game with Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand, talking about supple cheeks of a male stripper that was getting a lap dance from. If you have a problem with woke, you're buying games from the wrong company. Barbarians in Yellowstone? No. Sherlock Holmes with RDJ. That's what it is. Thank you. That's what it is. I was like, man, she looks so stinking familiar to me. Yeah, I Zenless Zone Zero being involved in the PlayStation Showcase, or the PlayStation State of Play, I don't think is that. I just don't think that's a smoking gun of anything. That game has been involved in a lot of their events, I feel like. And don't they have something coming up soon? I feel like they have something coming up soon for ZZZ. I thought I saw an update or an announcement or something. Congrats on hitting 54,000 subs. Thank you. We've been at 54K for a little bit, I think. Oh, somebody did a tip on Twitch. I'm sorry. Phil Spencer with a $2 super chat tip, or a tip, says, access journalism isn't journalism, it's marketing. Ask me how I know. Thank you so much, Phil Spencer. Okay, I have a bunch of calendar invites for my wife. She's updating the calendar. I was like, what the heck is going on? Why do I have so many emails? I keep my email number pretty clean. New updates for ZZZ, Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin are all around the corner. Yeah, I feel like Zenless Zone Zero has been a part of the PlayStation stuff pretty recently. I mean, again, that's what I feel like. Maybe I'm incorrect on that. You're excited for Dune Awakening this Thursday? Yeah, Dune Awakening did not grab my attention. I didn't really see anything that in its initial descriptions and what they were going to be doing with like the world and stuff. I was like, it sounded really cool, but then I kind of saw the gameplay and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like that to me, once I saw the gameplay, I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything with that. We're going to have some games coming that are crazy. What's this picture from? Performance workflows, biomes, higher character counts, prefabs. Oh, for UE's 5.6 update. Are you going to look at the WWDC next Monday? I don't know what that is. I don't think we've covered that in the past. The Apple event? No. I don't cover Apple events. If ZZZ was auto-generated, then as that's one of the games, if you see any fake state of play lists circulating that don't include ZZZ, you can eliminate it. No, I don't think you've definitively proved that. I said the Japan YouTube, when scheduling the uploading state of play, messed up. They didn't update the thumbnail, so I saw an auto-generated image before they fixed this. Oh. No, now I understand what you're saying, Maloon. Okay, no. No, okay, that makes sense. You're saying you saw the auto-generated thumbnail and you saw something from Zenless Zone 0. Yeah. This guy says, not saying these guys were the reason, but she absolutely looks closer to the Witcher 3 version in the new demo. If the model's unchanged, then they reworked how light affects her face. The reveal made her look rougher for sure. Cinematic versus in-engine is a more likely reason. They indicated it is the same model when asked about this. Yeah, it's cinematic versus in-engine. Like, that's why it looks different. It's far more likely that she looks slightly different from the cinematic to the in-engine because that's common in, like, I don't know, every game. Like, Geralt doesn't exactly match the Geralt in the cinematics, right? Like, the cinematics of him in Witcher 3 don't look one-to-one the way that he looks when he's walking around in the game. She's also fighting in the reveal. She was chilling today. Context matters. There are multiple screenshots from the original trailer in the cinematics that I thought she looked like she's supposed to look. She didn't look different. But there were angles and there were shots where it looked funny. She looked different, and that's just normal in games like that. Tom Henderson's being asked about the state of play. This guy says, will the rumored God of War spinoff be at this show? I remember you mentioned it a little bit about God of War returning to the Greek saga, and Jeff Grubb talking a little bit about God of War spinoff as well, and rumors being Metroidvania. Hendy says, hearing a lot of scuttlebutt about a 2.5D Metroidvania game or whatever it will be, yeah, seems to be much smaller in scale than what I initially thought. And then Grubb says, yeah. This is the Siri model. Yeah, and she looks like that in the cinematic trailer multiple times. It's just a matter of lighting and angles. 100% it comes down to that. I just think we just mute and ignore grifters. The more we talk about them, the more we get bogged down and not talking about more important things. I don't agree with you at all. I think, number one, we barely talk about it, and so acting as if we're giving it a disproportionate amount of attention is completely untrue. So I reject that. Wholeheartedly reject that. We barely talk about it, and when it comes up, I always focus on destroying falsehood with truth, which I don't think is an unimportant thing. I think in the grand scheme of the conversation, the public should be properly informed about these things. You should know that when someone's circulating those images, some of them have been photoshopped. You should know that a lot of these people have been lying and misrepresenting these things very, very commonly. I think that's totally acceptable to do. Now, if you turn your channel into a anti-this channel, like, well, you're going to do everything you can to go against these guys, well, then you would determine as a viewer, well, the content's going in a direction that I don't like. And I think that would be perfectly acceptable. If you were like, I came to this channel for gaming news and gaming discussions, and now it's all about destroying grifters. Sure, I think that would be a fair conclusion to come to as a viewer. That's not what I'm doing, and that's not what I plan on doing. But I also don't plan on sitting on the sidelines anymore. Everybody's freaking tired of their crap. I've watched enough videos and seen enough very successful YouTubers to know there's no reason to think that, like, well, if I talk about this, I'm just going to drive my audience away and they're going to get annoyed. There are people that want to hear it. There are people that want to see it done. You don't have to make your entire channel about it. It explains why Christopher Judge declined to replace the OG Kratos voice actor, so I suspect the old Kratos voice actor is doing the 2D1-2, I would bet. What if I'm an anti channel, a channel that is against being against things? Yeah. Then you live in a self-contradiction. There are grifters on both sides. Being quiet makes it worse. Right, like, I'm not going to go out here and get in Twitter spats with people. I'm going to call it what it is, and then I'm going to move on with my dadgum day. And if I decide to do a video about it, I'll do a video about it. And I'll do it in a way that is focused on the truth. It's focused on saying, listen, I'm not going to pull up some guy's video and listen to him, bloviate about the message. I'm going to say, listen, you're seeing videos circulated and screenshots circulated about this particular topic. Here are the facts. CD Projekt Red said it's the same model. There are plenty of screenshots from the original cinematic trailer where she does not look like that one screenshot everybody used. They're all going to use the same screenshot every time. They did it with Aloy, they did it with MJ, they did it with Ciri. They have a predictable playbook. They did the same thing with Fable. They had one awkward bad screenshot. They won't talk about any of the new screenshots where the engine and the rendering of faces got significantly better for Fable. They won't use any of those new screenshots. They do the same thing every time. And for me to call that out, make a video about it, yeah, Outlaws was completely ridiculous. Instead of talking about how the game slowly degraded in quality over the years, we had to talk about how K-Vest was ugly. Like, instead of talking about like the egregious marketing and rug pull they pulled with Star Wars Outlaws, we got bogged down in hearing, yeah, Western gamers are making the women ugly. And it's like, oh, for frick's sake. That game was hideous looking in so many ways, not just her character. It looked terrible in many instances, and it had more to do with how they chose to do lighting. I know I'm supposed to care about them, but we're talking about tech demos, not a game. We're talking about tech demos. About Witcher 4? I don't agree with Piscatella. It was a vertical slice where the guy was controlling the character. I think that's basically the foundation of the game. I don't think his categories are fair. I don't think his categories are fair. This was not a tech demo where the camera did all of the work. This was a tech demo slice of a game where the guy was able to control her and able to show what it looks like when she gets on the horse. These are all things that will be in the game. Like a tech demo of like the camera just swooping through a landscape and showing you like what time of day and lighting changes will look like. Sure, I'm not going to come out of my skin about that stuff either. I'm not. But I'm not going to say, oh, it's not a game. No, that was clearly what the game is going to be. Like that's the foundation of how your movement, your appearance, your towns, your interactions, your cinematics, your scenes, that is how the game is going to look. It's the foundation of what The Witcher 4 will be. Are we expecting this to release within 3 years of the reveal on PS5, or does this indicate PS6? Which game are you asking about? According to a spokesperson, Nintendo decided not to send Switch 2 review units ahead of launch because important features and updates will be available via the system update on the day of the console's official release. It did not say what these updates entail. I don't know if that dude was controlling. I'm calling shenanigans. I don't think so. I don't think that they would. That's the kind of thing that, why would you take that risk? You would just press play. My final prediction, lock it in, says Maloon. The theme of this state of play will be art styles. Horizon Online, Gravity Rush Remaster, God of War 2.5. Okay, that's pretty good. Thank you for the gifted sub. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Big Boss. He's controlling, and then they have a nice cutout of the horse muscle. Yeah, that was a cutscene. Yeah. It's like in any game. That happens now in Expedition 33, right? I walk forward and all of a sudden the screen goes like this and it initiates a cutscene. Just like when she walked up to the wood, the dock and looked down. They completely travel across the map. He still has control. He has control once the scene is over. They structured it like a game would structure it. Instead of you getting a cutscene where like she's talking or riding, they did a cutscene where they let you see the musculature of the horse. I think calling it a tech demo is completely fair. I'm not saying calling it a tech demo is unfair. I'm saying acting as if that's not the game is also unfair. I think slicing it out and be like, that's not the game. It's just a tech demo. It's a tech demo of the game. Like, there's a full sentence to be said there. That was a technical demo of the Witcher 4 game. There's a guy walking around with Ciri. He gets her to walk up to the horse and climb on the horse. It wasn't like some scripted video where they just had the camera panning through a village to show you lighting and reflections. So I think it being half and half, I get people's maybe hesitancy to get excited. I don't think that's a problem. If you want to be like apprehensive about like, I don't know, we've been here before and they could be playing, you know, shenanigans or something and not really showing us the, you know, the actual authentic game. I get being apprehensive. I'm not trying to hype you up. I'm just saying we shouldn't dismiss it as, well, that's not really the game. It's like, no, it is the game. It's what they're building. It's how that she's going to interact with those things. Now, I also will say this. CD Projekt Red's history, okay, CD Projekt Red's history of getting caught over marketing, over hyping something with Cyberpunk, I don't know if they're going to do that again. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't walk out and show that if they weren't confident they could deliver that. I don't think they're going to go back to that well one more time and be like, yeah, we're not even sure if we can do this, but let's show them this footage. I don't think they're going to do that again. Cyberpunk was very, very damaging to them as a company. The fact that they said it was running on a PS5 base targeted 60 FPS with ray tracing is enough for me, says Paul. Destin Legary tweets, y'all gotta stop saying PC gaming costs thousands of dollars. If you're on a budget, you absolutely do not need to spend that kind of cash. Even a quick Google search brings up decent options. Homie, just... I'm not even going to comment. I'm not. Maybe, but it's also not unusual for characters to be polished up through development. They showed her in Cinematic 2 today, and she felt like Witcher 3. They showed her in Engine today. None of that was purely cinematic, like the first trailer. Completely different ways of showing her face, lighting, and environments. She was shown in Engine today. None of that was purely cinematic like the first trailer. That's all in Engine. None of that's a cinematic, like a rendered video. That's in the engine of the game. Like, the first trailer is literally like a movie. It's like a Pixar movie. It's not in the engine of the game. It's not in UE. I mean, I guess it could be in UE, but it's not like in the engine of the game. It's a purely cinematic endeavor. That very first trailer is 100% cinematic. Everything they showed today is in engine. It's what the engine is capable of. So that's why her facial movements look different, because it's not a cinematic. Like, it looks like you can almost see the mechanics of her face working. You can see a little bit behind the curtain if you look close enough. I don't understand why you would label something as pessimism. It's a tech demo. I didn't say pessimism. Did somebody in chat say pessimism? The rest of the game isn't built yet. The final product will be close because that's the tech they're using. Who said... Did someone in chat say pessimism? I said I understand being apprehensive. I think that that's totally fine. Given the history of these types of tech demos, and given CD Projekt Red's history... I understand you're apprehensive. I think your apprehension is I think it's justifiable. I think it's totally justifiable to be apprehensive about what they showed. It is. We've been here before. I'm less apprehensive because I felt like instead of red flags, I saw green flags. If that's a phrase we can start using. There are red flags when someone shows a game. I think the opposite can be called a green flag. I saw green flags. I saw good indications of they were prioritizing performance. They were prioritizing 60 FPS. It was shown on a base PS5. All of the tech advancements were talked about within the language of making things faster, more efficient, more lightweight, as not to hinder performance. They were not trying to wow me with flashy tech. They were trying to say, we've gotten better at this so that we can work within the 60 FPS budget. Those to me are green flags. Red flags are when they won't show anybody in control of the character, when everything has been heavily spliced up, when everything is a really quick screenshot, when things look like they're like post-rendered or something. It looks like simulated gameplay instead of gameplay in the actual game running. Those are all red flags. I didn't see any red flags in this presentation. I didn't. I saw what I would consider to be green flags, markers of authenticity, markers of this is genuine. This is a genuine showing of this game. Yeah, Mind's Eye is a minefield of red flags. Like we can tell when somebody's trying to bamboozle us. None of my spidey senses, none of my hackles got raised during the Witcher 4 presentation. Everything I've seen with Mind's Eye raises my hackles and concerns. I'm like, what the frick is this game? There is something off here. From the very, very first time they've showed it, like, they showed cinematics today. That's not a cinematic. That's in-engine, brother. Young and a lot of peers both said that Cyberpunk 2077 was amazing, and then it launched. Thank you guys for the bits over here on Twitch, the hearts. And then it launched, and they crawled it all back. I've not done full research into why people were saying that it was a good game, and then they walked it back. I don't know why. I know people took down their reviews because they felt like it didn't represent the game. I absolutely disagree with you about Mind's Eye, but we will see the presentation in a few days, and the game's released next Tuesday. Can you articulate why you don't agree with me? You don't just say you don't agree. You're saying you absolutely disagree. I need you to articulate why. You're usually really perceptive. I feel like anybody who doesn't see that there's something off with that game, I don't know. That seems like low perception to me. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm literally like, I'm accustomed to you being very perceptive, and Mind's Eye totally looks like a bill of goods. It reeks the most of all games shown lately. I'm like, something's not right here. And the way they're talking about the game is also weird. They're being very weird in how they talk about the game. They're convinced that there's like an agenda against it. There's a company paying money to trash the game. Like there's all kind of weirdness surrounding that game. It's odd. It's very odd. The devs' comments about Mind's Eye should throw up major warning signs. That's what I'm saying. There's something off about it. The game comes out in 7 days. Where is extensive uncut gameplay? This guy says you're right. End of the day, I think the in-game version is pleasing everybody and looks exceptional, so win-win. So impressive it makes dog crap like Monster Hunter Wild shameful for its performance. Okay, he conceded. I was like, it's all in-engine. It's all in-engine. So that, I think, is a huge difference between a cinematic. And you could say the same thing, right? Like Witcher 3 cinematic Geralt. Okay? Look at this. Open image in a new tab. Does he look like that in the game? No, he doesn't look like that in the game. He looks quite different than that in the game. The first cinematic trailer for The Witcher 3, he looks noticeably different than The Witcher 3 in-game. It's noticeably different. See what I'm saying? because this is in engine and this is a cinematic. So there's a reason he looks different. You got different lighting. You've got somewhat of a different face shape. This face shape looks a little heavier. He looks a little bit, not heavy set, but he looks like, he looks like he's been, out of the gym for a little while. And here he looks thinner. CD Projekt Red confirmed today's tech demo was not in the game itself. We have to be very careful thinking about the showing today. So what do you mean not in the game itself? Specify what you mean by that and what they mean by that. Obviously, it can't be in the game itself. The game's not built yet. They're building the game. Check Discord. They've confirmed to VGC that what was shown at the State of Unreal presentation today was a tech demo set in the Witcher world, but not the Witcher 4 itself. But what did they mean by that? Yes, the whole game's not built yet. I don't think anybody here was arguing that. Okay. It showcases the powerful foundation we're building in close collaboration with Epic Games to push open world design further than ever before with core systems features developing in Unreal 5. We're proud of the early milestone and excited to give you a sneak peek at some of the cool tech. While it wasn't confirmed what was shown as actual gameplay, it shows what's at least possible on a PS5 console. Right, but if it's in the engine that they're working in and they sliced out something to show off what's possible, they say, the work we've been doing in Unreal Engine, running at 60 FPS on a PS5, a significant milestone, a testament to the great cooperation of our teams. Yeah, it's I get what you're saying, but that's still what the game is going to look like. If you're building the game in the engine and that's what you're coming up with, that's the tools, that's the tech, that's what will be in the game. I never said it was maybe I said it was the game. It's not the game. It's not the whole game of The Witcher. I always just assumed it was a slice so they could say, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this. But it's still the tools that they're using to build the game. There's no game logic. There's no combat, no enemy AI running. Fuck. What the heck is going on? Especially with CD Projekt Red, why would they showcase the game like that if it won't look like that? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I get the specification of being like, it's not the game. I don't think I thought it was like actually The Witcher 4. It was, this is a slice of what we're building with the tools that we're building, and this is what it's going to look like. Again, I don't think they're going to do what they did with Cyberpunk again. I don't think they're going to. Let's see if we can get a better picture of that. Witcher 3 Geralt cinematic. Let's see if we can get a better picture here, because I want to do that comparison. I think that's actually helpful. We need like a... Do we not have a high-res image from that cinematic? I feel like if we could get a high-res cinematic versus in-game. Yeah. There's not a good comparison. We'd have to get our own screenshot from the trailer. Because I always thought in the trailer he looked kind of like older, and he looked kind of not fatter, but like he just looked he looked heftier. Bottom line, it's not leaps and bounds about what we've seen now. Comparison to what? Well, I was going to show people that there's a history of the character in a cutscene looking different than the way that they look in the engine. Because yes, Ciri does look different in engine. I don't think she looks different in the way that people are claiming, though. I think she looks different because the one left has no eyebrows. It's just the lighting, bro. It's the lighting. Oh, somebody found my tweet. Yeah, that's the trailer I'm talking about. Hang on, somebody found my tweet. Hang on. Same trailer, different timestamp. Like, people are being ridiculous. I don't think that some people understand just how much of a crap storm Cyberpunk was for CD Projekt Red. The executives were caught blatantly lying to investors about the state of the game. They were taken to Polish court over that. Yeah, they were sued by their shareholders. So, like, I don't think you're going to see this happen again. Like, I don't think they're going to go for another round of that. Like, yeah, let's do that again. Let's misrepresent our game, you know, and make everybody think you're going to get some, you know, experience that's not accurate to the actual game when it ships. I wonder if there's a good screenshot of his face in this trailer. I thought there was one. There was one where he wrote, this is all the trailers and cinematics. You need the one where he like rides past the person that they're going to hang on the tree and he decides to help. That's the one where you get like a really good look at his face and you're like, yeah, that's not what he looks like in the game. Like his face is 100% different. Not 100%. It's vastly different than when he's in engine. That's the original trailer that I think is Witcher 3 trailer. The original Witcher 3 trailer where he's like, what? Yeah. This one, killing monsters. This is the one. I don't know if they ever show him like zoomed in though. Mind's Eye Studio execs depart Build a Rocket Boy 1 week before. The chief legal officer, chief financial officer at Mind's Eye have left the company. I told y'all that game didn't smell right, bros. Those dudes are getting the frick out. They're out. They're getting out of Dodge, bro. They're like, yo, this ship is about to sink, brother. It's going down. We're getting the frick out. That one might work. Like, you can clearly see, right? That's not what he looks like in the game. Like, he's just heftier. It's hard. This trailer is really tough. I don't think they ever really let you see his face. You gotta love the video game industry. You gotta love it. I tried to warn people. Yeah, this trailer was hot. I remember the day this trailer debuted. I was blown away. I was like, holy mackerel. The faces were like, they were so ahead of their time. This is an 11-year-old trailer, boys. This is an 11-year-old trailer. Yeah. I need a Witcher 3 cinematic where we get a good look at his face. It's really, really hard to find. Maybe the opening cinematic? Do you get a good look at his face? Yeah, that's not bad. Let's see if I can up the quality. No. Oh, wait, hang on. I got my captures all screwed up. Yeah, I mean, I think this displays the point. It's just hard. It's really, really hard because, like, a lot of the cinematics don't look at him straight on. It's usually from like an awkward angle. Like they're super zoomed in on Ciri's face in some of the sequences. Yeah. This is the screenshot I kept finding, but there's not like a very, very good high-res version of it. Do we know the Mind's Eye embargo? No. Oh, Corey, did you answer me? Hang on one second. You said, it's a new game from a new studio who doesn't have a major backer for advertising and marketing. I think we can argue about what the graphics look like, but the game has definitely shown gameplay. I don't know if I want to get bogged down into whether or not they've shown gameplay. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think that's the issue. The issue is that the way that they have shown gameplay is, you know what I mean? It's very, very weird. There's a weirdness to it. There's an oddity to it. Here we go. This will work. Let me get my snipping tool here. Okay. We need a square as best as we can get. Okay. And then what we need is this. New project. We need 10 by that. And then we're going to go edit, copy. And then we come right in. Paste. What is it? I can't remember how you transform in this browser. Free transform. How do you do oh yeah, you do a scale transform. I was like, how do you do it so that it doesn't contort it? All right, so we got that Geralt picture, and then we got this Geralt picture. Transform. No, edit, transform, scale. This is what I'm talking about, right? You've got cinematic versus engine. There's just going to be big differences. There's just going to be clear differences between what somebody looks like in the engine and what somebody looks like in the cinematic. Always. What is it? So we want to go select all, edit, copy merged. Since people don't seem to understand why Ciri looks slightly different in the new Witcher 4 footage, here is a Witcher 3 cinematic Geralt versus in-engine Geralt. Slightly different in the new Witcher 4 footage. Here's Witcher 3 cinematic Geralt versus in-engine Geralt. Post. The first Stellar Blade mods appeared online, and they're extremely not safe for work. Yeah, I would say so. I don't even have to look at them to know that. Joker Quinn gifts a member. He says, boys, it's been too quiet on the member front. You're 8 away from the next milestone. Whoever hits it gets it. I still can't believe that YouTube's just conceding the lead that Twitch has. You know? The level building part of Mind's Eye is still not clear. Mind's Eye isn't exactly hiding what it is. It's built as a resource meant for players to build their own games inside of, but they ran out of money and are now selling part of it as a game. Right. It was originally going to be called a game, like I forget what it was called, like Everywhere or something. And they essentially decided then to ship a game in the tool. You know what I mean? Minch Tree asking a question by misquoting me, which you guys do this very often with this. You often said Burning Shores was peak PS5 graphically. False. Never said this. I have had to clarify this so many times because y'all got in your feels when we had this discussion. I was extremely, painfully, annoyingly careful with my phrasing on this. For the 1,000th time, I said that Horizon Forbidden West was close to the ceiling of graphical fidelity we would see this gen. I said there was still room to improve, but we would not see the leaps and bounds of improvements that we saw in previous gens. Like if you look at late gen developments of the PS4 versus early PS4 games, the significant differences between those games is notable. I said that this gen, we would not do that. We would not see that. Horizon Forbidden West is a really good example of this. The lighting, the fidelity, especially Burning Shores, you're not going to boot up a game late gen PS5 and say, this makes Forbidden West look bad. Why? Because we're close to the ceiling. I didn't say we were at the peak, never even used the word peak. Never said we were at the ceiling. I never said we would never surpass this. I consistently said we are so close to the ceiling that the differences you will see late gen PS5, they will be less noticeable. They will not be leaps and bounds. I've consistently had to clarify this to y'all. Everybody got in their feels. They're like, no. Games are going to look way better late gen. No, I don't think that they will. I think we're so close to that ceiling, it's going to be harder to deduce those big differences. Even if you look at like AC Shadows with global illumination, even if you look at what they're doing with UE5 in The Witcher 4, you're not going to be like, well, that makes Forbidden West look terrible. No, Forbidden West, especially Burning Shores, is still in contention of amazing open world lighting and graphical fidelity that you're seeing in this. Yeah. Great. Diminishing returns from here on out. Kiss goodbye the generational leap. Yes, I've had to clarify this so many times. I never once. Thank you for the 3 single gifted Stone Spire. He is trying to set it up. He wants a 5-bomb. Yeah. There's a circular power button. Just press it once. Yeah. Just press that one time. Yeah, and thank you, Stonespire. Stonespire tried to bait a 10 bomb, couldn't get it. He tried to bait a 20 bomb, couldn't get it. He's baiting a 5 bomb. Whoever makes this hit 250 gets it, whether it's Twitch or YouTube. That's who I owe the 5 members to. Thank you so much, Stonespire. And Joker Quinn says, we'll do another single and bump the line one more time to 46. A little bit of a single train going. The 5 bomb now becomes an agent of chaos. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn. There isn't anything to figure out with the hardware. There are no shortcuts or tricks. These are known architectures. Right. So they're getting better at individual things. They're getting better at like rendering a tree from really, really far away with lighting and shadows so you feel like, oh wow, that tree still looks really, really good. But that's not going to make you say, oh, we are miles ahead of where Burning Shores was. No. You're going to get late gen in the PS5 and you're going to say, games look better, but they're not going to be leaps and bounds better than what we saw in Forbidden West and Ragnarok and Burning Shores. It's just not going to happen. I never, ever said, I'm so commonly misquoted on this, I never said, yeah, we're already at the peak. I never said that. People heard that. They heard what they wanted to hear because they thought, there's no way we're at the peak. There's no way. There's no way. There's going to be so much more. And it's like, no, I don't think so. I think there will be noticeable differences, but they will not be miles apart. Because if you look at what they showed today in The Witcher 4, and you look at AC Shadows with global illumination, I would argue currently AC Shadows is the best looking game this gen if you're playing it on the Pro with the global illumination turned on. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's better looking than Tsushima. I think it's better looking, marginally. It's marginally better looking than even the Burning Shores DLC. Not by much, but it is. And I don't think you're going to get much further beyond that. I really don't. What was this question implying? I took this question to mean peak as in Burning Shores was the best there was and was wanting to know how The Witcher 4 would stack up. No, that's not what he said. You often said that Burning Shores was peak PS5 graphically. This is false. I never said that. I said that Horizon Forbidden West and especially Burning Shores DLC were, quote, close to the ceiling of graphical fidelity that we will see this gen. That's what I consistently said. I always clarified it and said, we're not at the ceiling. We've not peaked. We are close to the ceiling, indicating that the room for improvement is much smaller than in previous gens. In previous gens, the room for improvement was bigger. They would learn tricks. They would implement new technology. They would come up with like loopholes and ways to do things. And so you'd get late gen in like PS4 and stuff, and you'd be like, holy crap, this game looks so much better than games early in the gen. We don't know if The Witcher 4 will actually release this gen. Their financial reports indicate no earlier than 2027, which would land in this gen. And the fact that they're saying this is possible on a PS5, to me, a base PS5, to me indicates they are trying to target this gen or cross-gen. So you could end up as a cross-gen, the cross-gen title. I feel like they're trying to target this gen. I feel like they're trying to target 2027. Because they started last year, which I guess that would be a pretty short dev cycle for them, though. That's only 3 years. So 2028. Well, see, that stands to reason. That would be a cross-gen title, because I feel like 2028 is probably the earliest we see a PlayStation 6. That's good. That's a good meme, Fuzzy. Yeah, they won't limit themselves to PS6. No. Yeah. Got to go PS5. Whether you do PS6 or not, it's a different story. I think PlayStation's 5 trajectory for market saturation is going to, I think, significantly influence where games want to land. They're going to shoot for cross-gen. A lot of games will shoot for cross-gen. They won't just like immediately say, "Oh no, we have to be PlayStation 6 only." They're going to want to shoot for cross-gen, because you're going to end up with, I think easily we're going to see 120, 115, 120, somewhere in the 115 to 120 million saturation for PS5. I think it's going to end up matching PS4. And you don't want to just ignore those people, especially when you have things like the Pro and PSSR and elements that can enhance what a game looks like. So, could we get 10 more likes? Let's get 300 likes in the video. We've had a great day. We've had a really strong turnout on both platforms. I know we got a little off the rails, but like there's only so much you can say about a state of play that's not happened yet. Plus that gives us a little bit tomorrow to eat from. I didn't want to completely consume tomorrow's stream because we're basically going to be waiting for the state of play, and those are always fun discussions and fun anticipation, but I didn't want to completely gobble all that up. So I was happy to talk Witcher, and I literally said that the grifter movement was going to do what they're doing. This guy says a game based on co-op, no audio, no crossplay, recycled assets from a recent game put randomly into the map. Same lazy gameplay where you roll around. Yeah, look at the comments. Yeah, I'm super glad that people are basically saying that they can't believe the defense force on my Elden Ring Night Rain video. There are a lot of people that are coming in saying this is ridiculous that people are defending this game the way that they are. Yeah, that's what we'll do tomorrow, Wolf Saints. You excited for the Embark announcement? I'm not familiar with Embark. What kind of game is it? I might have seen a trailer for it before and I've just forgotten. It's hard for me to remember every single game I've ever seen. A lot of the times, I don't know if you guys experience this. I experience this all the time. I'm like, oh, that game. I remember that game. Like, that happens to me all the time. Or are you talking about Embark Studios? Oh, you're talking about Arc Raiders. Embark Studios is the maker of Arc Raiders. Yeah. I think they're going to announce and shadow drop their open beta. I think they're going to do that with Keighley on Friday. And it'll be their version of early access. Yeah. It's official. There's no Nintendo Switch 2 reviews. Here's what that means for us and you, says Andy from VGC. And Jez Corden says red flag. I don't think it's a red flag at all. I don't. Nintendo is Nintendo. That's just how they operate. They're not going to send things out early and let people have things early when the demand is so dadgum high. They don't need your marketing. They don't need your videos. They don't need your articles. What people continue to fail to realize about Nintendo is they don't freaking need you. People are like, where's my marketing? Where's my trailers? Where's my videos so I can do coverage? They don't need you. They don't. It's unfortunate that they're that strong in the market. They have that level of demand with products like Mario Kart, Pokemon, Zelda, and Metroid. Like, they literally don't need the gaming press or the gaming media circuit or the gaming review circuit of YouTube. They don't. They marketed this thing minimally, and it sold like insane. I mean, it sold so insane. They marketed the thing so minimally. They brought people out to play both of the Nintendo Store sessions, and they brought several journalists out for a whole day of play sessions. Right, exactly, Talica. They did that, and then that's really all they needed to do. They don't need to ship you the device ahead of time. They don't. They're freaking Nintendo, man. I think this has been a continued problem with gaming press and gaming YouTubers and Nintendo. Everybody underestimates them. They talk about them like they're a T-Rex and they're Godzilla. I think that's the problem. They're not a T-Rex. They're Godzilla. They're the king. They can stomp around and do whatever the heck they want. People thought that like a Nintendo Treehouse stream with like 33,000 viewers spamming drop the price, they thought that was significant backlash. And I'm like, man, you guys are in for a real rude awakening that you have no power over what Nintendo does, almost like at all. The market does, but like Twitter and YouTube, no. You have almost no power over what they do. Spamming a chat with drop the price, 33,000 people, a company that's moved 150 million units of their most recent hardware. Let's see how sales go over time. Initial sellout continues to be nothing to me. I'll grant the first 50 million sales. I want to see how 51 to 100 million go. Here's what they can do that's an unfair advantage in this contest, Zuby. Pokemon, exclusive to Switch 2. New mainline Mario, exclusive to Switch 2. New mainline Zelda, exclusive to Switch 2. And they'll match or surpass Switch 1. Those titles are too powerful. They're too strong. They just are. You do a new Pokemon, and you can only get it on Switch 2, that's jet fuel in the tank. The run on the device at that point will be nuts. You do the same thing with a mainline Mario. Like, I want you to think about something. This thing sold like crazy. The launch title's Mario Kart. The title after that's Donkey Kong. The title after that's Metroid. We don't even have a mainline Zelda or a mainline Mario to push this thing. Or a new mainline Pokemon. This thing, they did this without what I would consider to be their three heavier hitters. Zelda, Pokemon, and mainline Mario are far superior, are far heavier hitters versus like a Mario. Well, maybe not Mario Kart globally, historically. The previous one sold like 75 million units, but it also crossed multiple gens and multiple devices, so it's a little unfair. But no release date for Metroid? I thought we had one. I thought it was after Donkey Kong. Oh, we just have 2025. You're correct. I thought they revealed the release date. Okay. They did it. They don't even have a release date for Metroid. I think what we disagree on is the size of the buy anything fanboy crowd. I think it's 50 million and the rest need to be convinced. If you think it's closer to 100, I disagree with that. I'm not putting out a number. I'm not. I'm simply saying they hit this level of demand without the three heavy hitters. Their three heavy hitters are a mainline Mario, a mainline Zelda, and a mainline Pokemon. That's their trifecta. They did it without that. The last Switch 1 sold like an insane amount because nobody wanted to miss out on Breath of the Wild. They're not even leveraging that right now. They're not leveraging the kings, the three kings, the three horsemen that will allow the Switch to be another insane saturated, like look at the Pokemon game that was so bad at performance and yet it still sold like crazy anyway. That's kind of a testimony to like how strong their brands are. I think that's the issue is that, like, if they kind of shot their three big shots already, I would say, okay, some apprehension makes sense. But they haven't even really shot the three big shots. A mainline Mario and a mainline Zelda by themselves will be enough to put the thing into the stratosphere. And then a mainline Pokemon, I mean, again, the popularity of that game it's a cheat. It honestly is a cheat code if you really think about it. They can move their device faster than any other game device in existence because they have some of the most powerful gaming IPs that are out there. Eugene says, I'm buying it to catch up on like 10 years of missed games. Yeah, I think a lot of folks are probably doing that as well. Wait, why is my Twitch chat scrolling up? There we go. No release is kind of moot. If Metroid 4 Prime, people have been waiting for this game, they could shadow drop that game and it would explode. After Donkey Kong is a mainline Pokemon in October? But did they use that in the Switch 2 marketing? I thought they showed an older Pokemon running. What's the name of the Pokemon game, Talika? I didn't feel like they used it in any of the marketing. Pokemon ZA Legends. No, I'm correct. Pokemon ZA Legends is for Switch 1 and Switch 2. Like I said, they haven't even really shot their shot yet. If they do a brand new Pokemon game only on like a mainline game, again, I said mainline, also it needs to be mainline and only available on Switch 2. That game doesn't fall into that category. So that it's available on Switch 1 and 2, so that automatically doesn't really count in the discussion that I was having. The minute they drop a mainline Pokemon that you can only get on the Switch 2, that is, just what the heck. The number of units they'll sell on that game alone is, it's not, again, it's not fair. It's a daggum cheat code, boys. It's a cheat code. Pokemon's a cheat code. If they would have come out swinging with a new Pokemon, a mainline Pokemon, only Switch 2, a new Mario, only Switch 2, a new Zelda, only Switch 2, I'd be like, man, they're nervous about demand. But they're holding back their biggest players. They're not even using their biggest players. If real world events wouldn't have happened, Switch 1 would have been decent at best. What are you talking about? You're arguing that 3 years later, the boost from the pandemic is the only reason it got to where it got? It had 3 years of incredible sales before that happened. Yes. Pandemic put a lot of things into overdrive that can't be unwoven from the sweater, but come on. Come on. It was like 15 million the first year, 13 to 15 million, something like that, first year. Yeah, and it didn't slow down. It just kept going. They only had their first slowdown. What was it? Was it last year or the year before? It took a long time before the thing slowed down. The pandemic was a nice boost, but I don't know, dude. That thing was probably going to be insane all on its own. They sold out at the beginning of the pandemic. It's not surprising. I don't know how much pandemic boosted hardware sales. I thought we looked at a sales chart once, though, for the Switch, Eugene, and I feel like 2020 did cause it to pull up quite a bit. And it was because of Animal Crossing. So, like, there was a severe uptick in 2020. I think we've looked at the charts. It's undeniable. But the device was already doing very well and then continued to do well in 2021, 22, and 23. I think the first slowdown was sometime between 23 and 24 when they finally started to have a slowdown. It took a long time. What time is it? All right, I'm going to try to keep this stream under 3 hours unless we hit 300. If we hit 300 and we're ahead of pace, I'll keep streaming. I'll give you guys the opportunity to extend. We've done that sometimes. I'll also give YouTube the opportunity to answer back on Twitch. We are 4 away from the next milestone, so whoever makes this hit 250, IO5. If not, we'll go to Green Room. That you guys have like 15 minutes. I'll give you 15 minutes. If you want to extend, we can extend. If not, we'll go to Green Room. There's not much to discuss in Green Room. We know what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I don't know if we pulled any shorts out of today. I figured we would at least pull out the Witcher one, but maybe he might be saving. I know you can't use the State of Play one, but the Witcher one we could use. And what was the other one? What was the other one that we did? We did AC Black Flag Remake. No, probably not that. Probably just the Witcher one. Oh, they actually saw their biggest boom in 2021. That's probably still COVID related in 2021. Yeah. 2021 was their biggest year, and it came down from there. Yeah. These charts don't show a big boost. They just show a traditional curve. Do you typically get your curve 1, 2, 3, 4 halfway in? I guess that makes sense. You get halfway in is when you typically do your price drop. Yeah, you do your price drop. Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't look like pandemic play. And Sirius secures it with the 5 bomb. There it is. Take that, Twitch. There it is, 251. All right, we are exactly 50 away from what we need to extend. I'll just basically keep streaming. Whenever we extend, we basically just keep streaming and just hanging out. So, like, you guys can kind of I put the stream in your hands. So, we'll see if any of the big boys decide to drop a 50 bomb. Or you guys could 5 bomb it all the way up. 10 people could 5 bomb it up and get us there on a little train. Pandemic hurt production for the Switch as well. Yeah, it did. Weren't they kind of hard to get? I feel like they were hard to get during that time period. I might be misremembering. All right, there's the 5.io. YouTube 1. That's true. I'm just saying in the beginning, even I was playing New Horizons. But if everything would have been business as usual, and if the 5 would have been accessible, come on, nah, fam. No, I think your take's unfounded. I do. I think the sales projections and trajectories for the Switch were doing just fine, and the pandemic, as Eugene is saying, actually kind of hurt their production. So I don't think so. I don't think that, you know, I don't think PS5 availability would have played a role either, because they're not really competing with each other. One has Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, and is a gaming on the go device. And wait, okay, hang on. Can we get this demo running at, hang on, stats for nerds. Okay, here we go. This looks terrible. Is my playback speed wrong? Yeah, this is a terrible upload. Okami uploaded it to their YouTube channel, and it's super stuttery. I don't know how he captured the footage, but it's bad. I don't know if there's a raw upload anywhere of the showcase of Witcher 4. Okami's upload's bad. Yo, what's good, random black guy? How are you? That's kind of a weird username to say out loud as a white guy, but hey. ...2021 was probably when production caught up. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think like the availability of PS5. I don't know. There was one on the Push Square website. All right, let's just see if we can find a good one. You're good. Like, local YouTuber refers to a user as a random black guy. Let's see here. Witcher. Oh, come on. I can't type Witcher 4 tech demo. IGN. Stats for nerds. 1080 60. Yeah, just so we're clear, this is in engine. You can see it in her facial movements. This is not like a fully rendered cinematic that they like turned into a video. You can see it in her facial movements. Watch. You see what I mean? You see the way like her face scrunches and stuff? That is 100% in engine. Those are the mechanics of her face firing. Okay, so let's see if IGN's gameplay upload is stats for nerds 60. They've uploaded a 1080 60 video. So this is not 4K. Yeah, these uploads that people are doing are freaking terrible. I don't know if we're going to get a raw upload unless CD Projekt Red does it themselves. Everybody's just doing re-uploads that look awful. They look stuttery, and I don't think they're 60. I think they took a 30 FPS video and they're trying to make it 60 somehow. I'm not sure. CD Projekt Red is goated. Why again? I'd be careful with that. Hey, Jagged Wizard, thank you so much for using your Prime sub on me. I appreciate that. Giving Twitch a little bit more of a lead over YouTube today and getting us to 252. You guys have about 10 minutes if you want to extend the stream. Sometimes I do that. I'm like, if we hit a crazy milestone, I'll just keep streaming instead of going to the green room. You guys have about 10 minutes to get 48 more members. You might need one of the big boys to come in and go crazy. I basically put the channel, I put the video and the stream in your hands. I didn't forget about the launch of 2077. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Is like, and again, I actually think Cyberpunk's launch is what gives me confidence in what they're doing right now, because they learned their lesson. Like, I don't think they're going to do it again. Does that make sense? Like, they know the danger of doing this, like, fake thing, and I don't think they're going to do it again because they know the irreparable damage it could cause. Going back to that strategy, like, one more time would be a really, really bad idea. It would be a very, very bad idea. And so I don't think they're gonna go back to that strat one more time and see, you know. The launch of Phantom Liberty gives me some confidence. My thoughts on Crimson Desert are, it just looks too good to be true for consoles. Yo, thank you, Magic Dolphin, for 23 months. The genius of Nintendo is now, as adults, we will still buy the games for our kids as an excuse to still play them. That's correct. And that bumps the line to 253. Thank you so much for that renewal, Magic Dolphin. That's a great way to help us hit milestones and to win these contests, boys, is to maybe make sure to celebrate your renewals. Black Guy. My thoughts on Crimson Desert. It just looks too good to be true for console. The fluidity, how fast everything's moving, the fidelity, the number of NPCs on screen. I'm like, I don't know how this game's going to run well on console. It just looks like one of those games that's too good to be true. And Stone Spire gifts a member. Okay, so I know what Stone Spire's doing. This is his fourth. This is his fourth attempt to bait somebody to do a big member bomb. We are officially now, he did another single. We are officially 20 members away from the milestone of 275. Whoever makes this hit 275, I owe your platform 5 members. Somebody give this man his 20 bomb. Eugene says, I don't think it's intentional. Scope creep and pushing dates further and further out just naturally create the situation. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think they intentionally did it. But I do think the presentation with UE was very, I think it was Zubair that used the word grounded. It just felt more grounded. It was like, we've made these advancements. We did this so things would run well. We did this so things would run faster. We're working within a 60 FPS budget. Lushy says, I'm out here getting gifted and I'm not even here. That's the way we roll, dude. Stonespire is probably the single most faithful single gifter out there. He's always single gifting, trying to bait people to do the big member bombs. He's trying. He is very consistent with that. Oh, his name is Random Black Guy? Trill, when he came in and I said his username, I said it's a little awkward to say that, you know? A little awkward to say that as a white guy, you know what I mean? Somebody gonna clip me out of context. I'm like, man, this guy is calling. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's this man out here saying, dude? It's like, I know I got an invite, but I'm not that bold, okay? Like, I don't treat the cookout invite as like a blank check to be talking crazy. Check Digital Foundry. What did Digital Foundry do? What am I checking them for? Digital Foundry. Elden Ring Night Rain about the problems with performance. What's good, Danny Dement? How are you? Trill took offense to that. He's like, hey, I'm the random black guy around here. Oh my gosh. How much time? All right, I'm going to schedule Green Room. You guys have 5 minutes to extend. You got 5 minutes. We've not done any buzzer beaters lately, so it's probably not going to happen. We will see. If you make it hit 300, I'm just going to keep going. If not, we're going to Green Room. All right, let me get it ready. We will schedule it for 1:15. There we go. Okay. And a single comes in from D.K. Baker. The other man behind all those single gifteds for the longest time. DK Baker has been another one. Thank you, sir. They're trying to rally the troops, boys. All right. We should probably do an additional batch of gifteds to whoever wins each day, so the contest to win is actually meaningful. Like, instead of just a matter of pride, you can actually get more for your platform. Dying Light the Beast is coming to Summer Game Fest. Keeley confirms. The theme of tomorrow's State of Play is art style. Wait, Maloon, is that you on Twitter under a different name, or is that now circulating as a theory? And Joker Quinn gifts a member as well. He's like, let's do it. We're going to go single gifteds all the way. 43 single gifteds in a row. You guys have like 3 minutes. I don't like streams going beyond 3 hours, but I let you guys do it. I let you extend them sometimes. And Joker Quinn, DK Baker, and Stone Spire are putting the call out. They are putting the call out. DK Baker, the king of Hanshot first. Joker Quinn has been the king of Hanshot first lately. He's the first single gifted every day for a while now. That's been Joker Quinn's mantle. It has been. Nintendo and Nvidia bosses say the Switch 2 is the ultimate realization of late President Satoru Iwata's dream. It is wonderful to see Mr. Iwata's vision come full circle. Nvidia really out here running some marketing here for the Switch 2. It's kind of interesting. What a bunch of sweaty tryhards. And DK Baker's going to do another one. He says, where are my compadres at? 2:58. You guys have 2.5 minutes? 2.5 minutes? Gene's turn. Wait, how similar is his picture to Young's? All right, how similar? Come on now. Yong, yeah. Come on, Gene. All right, hang on a minute. You're not helping us. All right. Gene Park. All right, Gene. Where's your picture? Like, do they have... okay. Not... You're not helping. You're not helping us here. It's like the same angle and everything, okay? I love Young. I like his voice work. Come on, y'all. Come on. The angle is the same and everything. What? Gray shirt? I'm obviously kidding around. Gene and I follow each other. And I've always liked Young. Oh, my gosh. All right, we got to go. You guys did not extend. You didn't extend. I'll give you 60 seconds. Hi, weirdo. Hello, Snow. How are you, weirdo? You guys have 60 seconds to extend the stream. You would need 42 members in that 60 seconds. How are you? I'm great, Snow. How are you? Of course, those Switch chips are being fabbed by some ancient node. The Switch 2 Silicon isn't taking away AI sales from RTX cards. All over the place. Alex says, I shot my shot this morning. Yeah. No, Alex, you've been great. You have become the official MASH of Twitch. All right, you guys have 30 seconds. He probably did that on purpose. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but it's just funny. I'm just being silly. Obviously, we have to be able to laugh at things like this. Come on, can't be that serious. All right, let me get you guys a link to the green room. The redirect has actually been really, really good lately. Like, you guys haven't even, needed the link, but I will provide you with one over here on YouTube. No buzzer beaters today, boys. Thank you so much for being a direct supporter of what I do here on YouTube. If you are watching this is a green room segment, and what we do is, no, Twitch, you can keep watching. Eventually, you'll have to be a sub to watch this segment on Twitch, but for now, I just turn on the sub-only chat. And on YouTube, you just have to be Member Plus or VIP. So, y'all are the absolute best. Thank you for supporting it. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect. Redirects have gotten even better lately. It's smoother. So, it should just bring you guys